What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 12 SW Chapter 32, The Temporary Imperial Conference, Shock Brother Xiao Ming's Big Project Plan. Advertisement, first. Many kingdoms that North Blue has not yet been attacked by the Empire have formed alliances. A vain attempt to fight back against the Empire. The Imperial Meeting. Conan's first sentence stunned everyone in the room. Very scary. The summoned Doflamingo's pupils shrank, and his expression was extremely serious. There are more than 170 countries joined by the world government, but that doesn't mean that there are only so many countries in the world. Many kingdoms did not join, as far as he understands. Although a single kingdom is not strong, North Blue is the strongest sea. There are always many people with good strength in some kingdoms. If there are more than a dozen or dozens, the kingdoms are united. Even the current Don Quixote family can't hold it. After all, Dover is still young. But, puff cough cough, Deidara couldn't help laughing and couldn't stretch herself the next moment. Puff ha 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 ha, Deidara smiled, and Obito couldn't stand it anymore. I have received rigorous training, and I don't usually laugh unless I can't help it, ha 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 ha. Obito smiled straight to the table. The other captains can't help but laugh. It seems that I heard the best joke in the world. Still alliance? Still rebelling against the Empire? Uzumaki Kushina smiled and said lazily, a group of ants, delusional, it is sad and ridiculous. This is quite plain. There was even no waves. Because of those so-called kingdom alliances, Kushina can't raise any interest. Can an elephant be killed if there are too many ants? Ground ants, delusional whistle flying elephants. You are afraid that you are not living in a dream. Duh. Doflamingo didn't dare to laugh in front of so many senior executives, but he was very happy. 07 joined the Holy Empire. His decision was too wise. There are forces that can win North Blue, but no one dares to be so unscrupulous. Think of world government directly as heir. Well, what I just said was just a small matter, don't care. Conan directly ignored the so-called Kingdom Alliance, and she just said casually. Alliance. Ooh. Seeing the small gesture, little Robin got up and saluted, and then said solemnly with a small face. Those kingdoms are ants, not to be afraid. Even if the world government sends troops, it just adds fun to the Empire. But the Empire faces a problem that has to be taken seriously. The captains look different. What is the problem? Is there any hidden power? Doflamingo, who is very familiar with North Blue, also racked his brains, temporarily wondering what the problem is. Do you know why there are pirates in this world? Little Robin didn't say directly, but asked questions like this. Everyone has a certificate. I really haven't thought about it. Many people looked at Doflamingo. After all, he is a native of this world and knows more. Seeing all the high-level officials look over, Doflamingo immediately got up, feeling inexplicably nervous, and said solemnly, Sir, in my opinion, the sentence before One Piece died is very problematic, and it directly affects countless new generations. Everyone's forehead. One Piece did pit a lot of people. Dover continued. But before the birth of One Piece, or in the past few hundred years, the pirate has never been cut off. So what he said is not the root cause. The last era was more chaotic. Little Robin nodded. Sit down, don't have to stand up and talk. Yes, sir. Doflamingo laughed wildly in his heart. Does he count as entering the core of the Empire? Everyone. You are still far away. Please, everyone, world map. Little Robin took out a cell phone, tapped it, a holographic projection map appeared. Dover couldn't help being stunned. He had never seen such a clear and detailed map, even the world government could not have it. As you can see, there are tens of thousands of large and small islands in Shanghai. Only in North Blue, islands are measured in units of thousands, and even a small village is an island. Little Robin said, opening the holographic map of North Blue and expanding it continuously. Can be from an island. Saw a small village. There are many small islands around, one island and one village, this is just a small area. The entire North Blue, there are many village islands. Naraluju said with emotion. There are so many islands, if there is a crime on a small village island, some people will go to sea. Even if there are more marines in this world, they can't control it. Everyone understands. Yes, although it is impossible for every island to have a marine, each branch manages a sea area. But the distance between the island is very long. Communication equipment is not comprehensive. Someone on an island who goes out to sea as a pirate may not be discovered until a few days later. Even before the pirate was offered a reward, standing in front of marine doesn't know if he is a pirate. At that time everything was too late. Little Robin nodded and said, this world is not an empire. The islands are almost closed. There is no communication such as mobile phones, no transportation such as light rail planes, and no sound laws. The criminals killed people and left, becoming more and more rampant, and the inaction of all parties. Various reasons make it difficult for the pirates to stop. The above, there are two fundamental reasons. First, there are too many islands. Second, the law is not complete. The first problem facing the empire is how to deal with the problem of too many islands. Everyone was stunned. The three imperial armies are not there, and currently only the sacred troops are attacking North Blue. A team of 100 is the safest, but other islands. If it is all down, how to guard it? One person guards one island. That's too messy. Conan opened the mouth and said, So the Empire divides its troops to attack the major islands, which is time-consuming and laborious, and it is also difficult to defend. Advertisement. See the big and the small. If the Empire takes the entire world, how to effectively manage thousands of islands, no matter how strong it is, it will not be enough. The mountain is high and the Emperor is far away. There are too many islands, and the people on each small island will have a pathological mentality that I will not be found even if I commit a crime. Obito said directly, it's not enough to merge all the islands. Combining the thousands of North Blue Islands into one, forming a continent, everything is easy to solve. The same goes for other sea areas. At that time, there will be 4 continents, east, west, north and south, plus a grand line, which is clear. Obito praised his wit. Deidara couldn't help laughing. You mean, if you attack North Blue, this small place, you have to bother your majesty to take action? Obito's expression froze. Yes, except your majesty, who can link so many islands together. Marshal Kaguya. No, she can indeed use gravity to relocate the island, but she is not currently in the Empire, and even if she does, it will take a long time to do it. Hyuga Hinata said, my Tensigen can only move small islands, not large islands. The teacher is attacking other chakra system planets and will not return until at least a few years later. Break, incredible. The Empire actually considers this kind of thing? Doflamingo felt that his worldview collapsed and constantly refreshed. Others in this world just want to win a few more island local dishes. But the Empire thought, put all the islands together? How big is the project? Like the world's first boatman, Tom the Murloc's dream is to build a sea train. The purpose is to connect the islands together, facilitate communication and navigation. It's too difficult. There is a lot of boiling, and if it is done, it will indeed solve the root cause of the pirates. Doflamingo understands the perfection of this plan. If he manages an island, no one can commit a crime and become a pirate at will. The Empire manages several continents, the same is true. Who dares to commit a crime? Who can go out to sea as a pirate? Just sin. Can't get out of the mainland at all. Pirates go to sea only when there are islands. The island is gone. What are you doing at sea? Have you ever played home on the ocean? Boy, is there any devil fruit in this world that can move the island? I, the strong captain of the first squadron, looked at Doflamingo. Ability to relocate islands? Doflamingo thought deeply, there are some things you can't say nonsense, you have to be responsible. Relocating islands, I always feel that this ability seems familiar. Thinking about it, Doflamingo's inspiration flashed, and he blurted out, lion fruit. One of the 3 legendary pirates, Golden Lion Shiki's lion fruit can do it. Really? The crowd came in great interest. But Dover shook his head immediately. Even if he can make the island float and migrate, the North Blue is too big. If you want to migrate all, it won't work in a few years. Moreover, some islands are small continents. I don't believe he can float the biggest islands. Is this the problem? This is not a problem at all. Deidara said with great interest. You said that it consumes too much time and cannot move too much island. The fundamental reason is insufficient strength. Just give him an upgrade. Dover, 213 upgrade? That's Golden Lion. Even if it is rumored that the foot escapes from prison, impelled down, even if it is rumored that the brain is broken by the rudder. But now it is still the top. Swordsmanship alone makes people look up to. How can it become stronger? Doflamingo hesitated. Sir, you may have misunderstood, although there are many strong people in Shanghai. But there is a limit to strength. For example, Whitebeard, it is impossible for him to continue to grow stronger. After reaching the top of the world, he will practice hockey and skills at most, and his strength has reached the end. Because of old age, all kinds of old injuries can be suppressed, and he will only get weaker and weaker. Everyone just smiled and said nothing. Doflamingo still doesn't know much about the Empire, the most obvious example. Hyuga Hinata is the king of plugins, otherwise, how to become a captain at the age of 8, and at the age of 13 ranks 3rd in the Empire. Not your majesty. The first echelon is Kaguya 7 stars. The second echelon is Madara, the 6-star pillar. The third echelon is the 5-star limit. Ah, so, you still need to find out that little lion, right? Open a hangar for him and move the island. Silent White Zetsu spoke up, making Dover's eyelids twitch. Golden Lion is no small person, let me find it. The little lion that can float on the island must be flying in the sky, and it is troublesome to find. So Conan spoke. Orange eyes, black and red, all-knowing and all-powerful opening. For an instant, the audience held their breath. Hiss. Doflamingo lowered his head directly. He just glanced at it and felt that he was almost dead. Worthy of being the woman who destroyed the Holy Land. It's horrible. Found it. Looking at the future of the world, and going back to the present with the fragment, Conan turned off omniscience and omnipotence, and a flash of surprise flashed in his eyes. Hyuga Hinata curiously asked, Sister Conan, what's the matter, is he dead? Conan smiled inexplicably and looked out the window. No, he came to North Blue. Looking for us. Chapter 33. Legend has it that the great pirate is coming, come and be my right arm. Advertisement, it's better to come early. As soon as the solution was discussed, he sent it to the door. Let me go, I haven't played against the top power in this world. No, let me do it. I heard the little lion come over. The captains led the way with excitement, vying for the right to take the shot. Don't care if you can beat it or not, how do you know if you don't fight? Do. Doflamingo wanted to laugh, but couldn't laugh, and was a little sad. Original. Any high-level empire does not look at the top powerhouses in this world. That is strength. No more numbers. Fortunately, Dover doesn't want to rely on strength to get the upper hand. He firmly believes that his other talents can be appreciated. With your strength, removing Hinata, if you don't work together, it will not be enough to win the top power in this world. Conan spoke directly. Let the major captains listen immediately. This is the truth. They are the captain of the squadron, not the admiral of the Imperial Army, and their strength is not enough. For example, Yuankong. Although they have many methods, it is difficult to cause effective harm to them alone. That is a strong person who uses armed forces as a tsunami, and conventional means can't break the defense at all. Hinata wins by the arc of time. All the attacks and defenses of Kong Kong were directly erased and turned into a target. Brothers, you are still far behind at this moment. Uzumaki Kushina got up and said with ease. Sister Tsunade has solved an admiral, and the little lion will be handed to me. Hope to surprise me. Seeing this, Uchiha Mikoto also got up. I'll go too. Kushina suddenly puffed up her face. Mikoto, don't you believe me so much? With that, Kushina threw a show punch. Mikoto smiled and said, Sina, of course you are very strong, but I can go over and shout for you. Kushina was suddenly full of smiles. It is Mikoto who understands her, and if the Queen of Critical Strike makes a shot, it must be watched. If it is not too troublesome. Kushina wants to come to a world live broadcast, let the world remember her name. You, and you, anyway, you're all right, so let me be a cheerleader. Kushina pointed to the little brothers of the captains. Conan couldn't help smiling. Since the plan has been made, then all the troops will be recalled to see the strength of the legendary characters in this world. After the plan is completed, we will send troops to attack North Blue. Yes, Captain. The captains are also looking forward to it. The Marine side has seen a lot, the top powerhouse of the pirate side, they really haven't seen it. Also let the holy soldiers open their eyes. Avoid accidents like the little sage soldiers who are too proud of the two pillars. Over North Blue, dozens of floating sky island flew over. If this scene is seen, countless people will be shocked, but the floating sky island is so high that very few people can perceive it visually. And the island headed by is a floating pirate ship with a lion head. Laugh ha 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 ha. There was a burst of Hoki's heroic laughter from the island. Anyone would think that the laughter was Hoki's extraordinary existence. But, inside a hall, like a disco, it's lively and people dance together. Forbidden ha 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 ha. Continue to play music, continue to dance. A man with long golden hair like a lion's mane, with the rudder on his head, and his feet replaced by double swords, is like a lion. Hoki is dancing. Not jumping alone. Pulling a group of people jumping. The jump is very obscure. It has a sense of rhythm and is still walking catwalks, which is slightly funny on Hoki's man. Senju Hashirama. I can't bear to look straight, it's far from the class. Uchiha Madara. Garbage dance moves, it's not as good as me. Follow ha 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 ha. After a while, the man stopped dancing, turned around contentedly and walked to his seat. Ding 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 ding. Since the prosthetic legs are swords, they make a tinkling sound when walking on the road. One of the three legendary pirates, the captain of the flying pirate ship. Golden Lion Shiki. Hobbies, killing people, dancing. Puff, puff. Shiki was speechless because of strange sounds like farting and springs. Can't you think of a way to solve your footsteps, Dr. Indy? The man who walked bounced around, dressed like a drama clown, and it was Shiki's assistant Dr. Indy. Puff, puff. Dr. Indy danced and performed mime on the spot. What? Shiki couldn't understand at all. What do you want to say? Dr. Indigo spoke. I found something, please look around next. You can talk. Shiki couldn't help snarling, his angry eyes popped out. Ha ha ha. Not far away, a chimpanzee in a pink coat clapped his hands and laughed. Shiki looked over, his jaw dropped in shock. Old, Mom? When Dr. Indy went up and gave Shiki a slap on the head, he said speechlessly, how do you think he is a chimpanzee? Brush. Next moment, the two of them stood together with an orangutan, posing pose. Shiki also raised his hands and made a gesture of yeah, which was very funny. The pirate boys looked at each other. Did they follow the wrong person? You guys didn't come out of the circus to be funny, did you? They are Shiki's new pirate brothers these days, and they can't keep up with Shiki's rhythm at all. Advertisement, they are forced to dance, forced to watch Shiki funny. A pirate couldn't help but took out a mirror. Boss Shiki, look, does your posture fit the hockey identity of your pirate? Shiki looked at it suddenly. When he saw himself in the mirror clearly, Shiki's jaw dropped again in shock. Male CK? Is that a CK in the mirror? Pirates? Finished. Shiki's old brain is broken. Care. Dr. Indy kept laughing, but his laughter was a little sad. 5 years ago, Shiki couldn't believe that Roger, who was considered his opponent, would be arrested, so he single-handedly entered naval headquarters to confirm. Especially after knowing that Roger will be executed in East Blue, Shiki is angry. That is the weakest C. That was regret, direction to Roger. Take him. In order to prevent Shiki from making trouble when Roger was executed a week later, Garp and Sengoku played. After the trio destroyed nearly half of the town of Marineford, the winner was decided. After Shiki was defeated, he was taken to the 6th layer of Impel Down, Eternal Hell. I thought. The legend of Golden Lion ends here, but he had just been in jail for 2 years. That is, 3 years ago, in order to escape Impel Down, Shiki chopped off his feet bound by sea stone shackles. Since then, his feet have been used as prosthetic limbs. Sakura Shi, and, wood withered. Become the first big pirate in history to escape impelled down. A sensation in the world. Same. Shiki also disappeared for 3 years. I have been studying with Dr. Indigo how to kill the IQ component of animals, hoping to destroy East Blue to avenge the world government. Lan Yu. Sure enough, my brain broke, because even if East Blue is completely destroyed, it will not have any impact on the world government. He might as well study how to remove the rudder on his head and restore his feet. Any world. They all speak by strength. Boss Shiki's illness is getting worse. Dr. Indy thought so. The illness he was talking about was not Shiki's dancing and Zhang Er's funny behavior. That is Shiki's character hobby. The rudder on the head is sick. 8-wall battle. 2 years before Roger became king, there was a great pirate battle that went down in history. That was the heyday of the Flying Pirate Group, as powerful as the Roger Pirate Group were driven into desperation in their way to the end. A sudden storm saved the Roger Pirates. Because most of the Flying Pirates' fleet was driven to the bottom of the sea by the storm, and an accident, the rudder was unfortunately stuck on the head of the Golden Lion. Because it would be life-threatening to force the rudder out, the ship is still inlaid on the head. Legend has it that the pirate Golden Lion ended disastrously. It was okay 5 years ago, now, alas, Dr. Indy was worried. The Golden Lion, which broke into naval headquarters 5 years ago, can still use Conqueror's Haki. Can be defeated by Garp and Sengoku, impelled down for 2 years, lethargic, lost legs and so on. Cause serious rudder problems. Nowadays, even Conqueror's Haki is difficult to use, and it will cause great pain when used. It's not that it can't be used, but it's too painful. Fortunately, Shiki's swordsmanship and abilities are still strong, and it is no problem to conquer some sea cities. By the way, what did you just want to say, after Shiki made a fool of himself? Looked at Dr. Indy. Dr. Indigo immediately said, the monitor found that there is a flying ship not far in front, it should be a ship of the Holy Empire. Laugh ha 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 ha, I finally found them. Shiki Haki laughed. He came to North Blue. It is looking for the Holy Empire, especially Loli Hyuga Hinata, the strongest in the world. If you leave it to him to train, she must be able to cultivate a woman more terrifying than Charlotte Linlin. Will be his strongest right arm. Hinata, teacher, someone wants to train me. Kagaya. Huh, is there anyone who is so afraid of death? Pirates have one thing in common, haughty, extremely arrogant. If you are not arrogant and non-pirates, especially the big pirates standing at the apex of the world, they are really proud of one another. Such as Kaido, Whitebeard, Ant. They are pirates, who are they afraid of? Even including the Golden Lion, everyone was once a Rock's pirate cadre or intern. But they still haven't been afraid of Rocks, they just joined. Then, daring to break into naval headquarters alone, and even almost wiped out Shiki of Roger Pirates, let alone anyone. Ha 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 ha, come and be my right arm, Holy Empire. Huh, what a big pirate, crazy enough, arrogant enough, arrogant enough. Just after Shiki's laughter fell, a cold female voice sounded. The laughter stopped abruptly. Lion Majesty, Earth coiling. Shiki's lion fruit ability exploded. The whole floor of the hall was lifted up directly and condensed into huge lions. Rushed to the roof. Boom. The roof shattered. When the outside sky unfolded, the pirates in the hall were all taken aback. Because I don't know when. A huge flying ship appeared above the room, and it was full of people. At the center of the edge of the huge ship, a beautiful woman with white military uniform and long red hair stood akimbo and looked down at the crowd. Huh? Are you a little lion or a little CK? After seeing Shiki's image, Kushina was a little disappointed that she didn't even have legs. Die ha 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 ha, I still want to find you, but I didn't expect you to deliver it to your door. Shiki was smiling, and suddenly saw Kushina's look that he didn't want to bully the disabled. Damn it, don't underestimate lousy. Handsome. Shiki flew up angrily. Chapter 34. Uzumaki Kushina vs Golden Lion Shiki. The goal is Hinata? Advertisement. Forbidden ha 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 ha. Shiki, the Golden Lion flying up, laughed full of madness and arrogance. It was the heroism of a big pirate. But Golden Lion did not do it the first time, floating in the air with arms folded. It is located dozens of meters higher than the Empire's flying giant ship and overlooks the people of the Empire. 1. Both look very young. Looking at Mikoto, Hinata and others, the Golden Lion Shiki's eyes were quite satisfied, and he suddenly raised his hand to make a fist. Come on, I'll come to be my right arm. Obito puckered out his ears and said, your voice is too loud, can't you change the word? Little rooster. Hey, do you think I'm like a rooster, too? To everyone's surprise, Golden Lion was stunned for a moment, dancing and dancing in the sky. Immediately, Golden Lion returned to normal, his expression furious. Damn it's kid, lousy is a Golden Lion. Everyone was speechless. Is this schizophrenic? Kushina was lacking in interest at the moment, but it was a pity. There is a rudder on her head, and it is obvious that she has broken her brain. It is absolutely inconvenient to replace her feet with a knife. The overall strength is at least 30% lower, right? Maybe there are other problems. My opponent is obviously a legend, but it's too disappointing. The pirates below were startled. This beauty. Want to be Shiki boss opponent? No matter how much Shiki's boss has problems, it is also a horrible existence that easily destroys the island. This woman is dead. Compared to these newly recruited idiot pirates, Dr. Indy is very solemn. This is troublesome. I plan to take Hyuga Hinata away. But it brought so many people over at once, as well as Tsunade, who defeated Admiral, and Conan, who smashed the Holy Land. Boss Shiki can't stand it either. As the confidant of Golden Lion, Dr. Indy naturally understands how arrogant Shiki is, but he also knows that Shiki is not an idiot. Pride does not mean brain damage. Of course, some pirates are really brain dead. Hyuga Hinata. Shiki said that he wanted to subdue the Holy Empire. It was just the arrogance of the great pirate who was unwilling to show weakness. The real purpose of coming to North Blue is Hinata. The world's strongest loli who killed Marshal Marine is famous. Because Hinata is still young, his thoughts are definitely not fixed, it is possible to brainwash successfully. Others are simply out of consideration. As for Hyuga Hinata's surprising 213 people's rule-based time ability, Dr. Indigo and Shiki also made plans. Since it is a capable person, sea stone, seawater, can be solved. Well, until now, many people still think Hyuga Hinata is capable. After all, this is a limitation of the worldview, and only devil fruit can give special abilities in their thinking. The racial talent of the fur tribe is too scarce. There are weaknesses. It's not so scary. In other words, countless people forcibly added a weakness to Hinata to comfort themselves. This woman. Shiki inadvertently glanced at Hinata, who was reading quietly on the giant ship, and his eyes fell on Shinai. And that's Tsunade. The same costume, the same badge. Obviously, the same as the Imperial Air Force Admiral. Shikamaru of the Holy Soldiers suddenly said, Kushina-sama, the lion's target is Captain Hinata. What? Deidara and others were shocked. Shiki and Dr. Indy were shocked. How did this kid tell? Hinata was slightly surprised. Is the target? Shikamaru nodded earnestly. Yes, this lion looked at Captain 7 times when he came out, the same as Captain Obito abducted Enel's eyes. Obito went up and gave Shikamaru a backhead, dissatisfied. Boy, what do you know? My gaze is to cherish talents, don't you understand? Shikamaru's eyelids twitched, said it was not abduction. Enel was scammed by you to the Academy of Sciences, and he hasn't come out yet. But Obito's words also awakened everyone. Little Hinata's performance is too amazing. It was so amazing that the careerists gave birth to the idea that I would destroy if I didn't get it. That's amazing at 13 years old, isn't it invincible when you grow up? Especially that time system ability, makes countless people extremely jealous. Kong Kong was smashed to death, who can guarantee that he will be able to stop it? Oh lala, this girl is amazing. It is said that Whitebeard has said, if the sons meet Hinata, if there are conflicts, they can abandon their dignity and run away. One can imagine. Whitebeard is also afraid. AHFH, he is not afraid, but his sons can't stop him. That is the power of time. It makes countless people jealous and mad. Interesting. Seeing that Shiki's expression changed, Tsunade chuckled slightly. You have a good idea, but have you ever played Hinata? This sentence, constantly echoing in the sky. It hit Shiki's heart. Die ha 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 ha. The golden lion Shiki laughed furiously, raising his hand and dragging him. Lousy is a golden lion. Lion majesty. Earth coiling. Boom. An island below vibrated, and it was abruptly shattered into broken soil. Wow. Like a tsunami flowing backwards. The broken island flew up and turned into a lion hundreds of meters tall in midair. The power of terror. Cover the sky. Appeared. Shiki boss has invincible abilities. No one can stop it. The pirates below cheered and shouted, their eyes full of worship. This sentence is not entirely wrong. Just lion majesty. Earth coiling is enough to kill all pirate supernovas in seconds. What protagonist group? Still the group is gone. It's just a pity that Shiki lives in the theater version and his heart is not cruel enough to kill him. The range is huge. Very powerful, but for the top powerhouses, apart from doing some interference, the effect is not very big. Do. Doflamingo smiled and wiped a cold sweat. This legendary pirate is really terrifying. That's an island. It was crushed directly. If he touched the translucent island where he was, wouldn't it be a trick to kill the whole family in a flash? Then, I'm going to go. Before the words fell, Uzumaki Kushina disappeared in place, and appeared above Shiki in the next moment. Small divine destruction. Kushina flashed a laser between her fingers and bombed Shiki. Jin. Shiki turned over together. I waved my legs flexibly in the sky, and blocked the laser with the knife on my feet. Multiple divine destruction. Before Shiki retracted his foot, Kushina fired dozens of lasers between her fingers again. This woman. Shiki frowned slightly. Advertisement. With just these 2 moves in a row, not many pirates can stop it, and the attack speed is too fast. Just like Kizaru fired dozens of lasers in a row. Qianshin, what is it? Shiki had just blocked a few lasers, and suddenly there was a broken sound, and Shiki flew away in shock. How come? The pirates were shocked. The knife on Shiki's left foot broke. That's a big sharp knife. What? Kushina's eyes were surprised, as if she had discovered new world. You didn't use armed colors to defend, don't you? No, you are a big pirate. If Shiki wouldn't be armed. That is simply a big joke. Tsunade, who is very good at medical treatment, took a close look at the rudder on Shiki's head. It is a miracle that the boat can be stuck in his head, and it's not dead, but it also limits him. Die ha 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 ha. Lousy doesn't need hockey to be a big pirate. Shiki didn't care much, the right foot kicked through the air. Lion slash wave. A golden slash came in from the knife on the foot, easily tore the atmosphere, and struck Kushina with a terrifying power. Fei Lian feet. Kushina dodges for a moment, boom. Everyone raised their eyebrows in the empire, and under the shocking eyes of the pirates. The suspended sky island below was split a dozen in a moment, and rushed to the sea below with undiminished prestige. Shit. A terrible crack appeared in the sea, spreading for an unknown number of miles. Hiss. Doflamingo was also taken aback. According to his visual observation, the sea below has been split dozens of kilometers apart. That is kilometers. For the first time he saw such a range of slashes at close range, no island could stop it. Kimimaro frowned slightly. Can you not be surprised? Sorry, my fault. Brother Xiao Ming was slightly embarrassed. It can only be said that Dover is too young at present, nesting in North Blue, which the big pirates disdain, has not seen the top big pirates. What's the use of a large range? If you try 100 more times, you still can't hit me. The voice suddenly rang from behind, and Shiki flew into the air without thinking. And in an instant, turned around and kicked at high speed. Lion Thousand Slice Valley. A wave of flaming and huge blows flew out from the two famous swords of Sakura 10 and Deadwood. It is crisscrossed into a large net, carrying the power of tearing the sky and the earth to cover Kushina. I said, you can't hit me. What? The voice heard again behind him made Shiki's pupils shrink. Because of the front, Kushina was standing there. And directly smashed by Jian Wang. Bite. The shattered body turned into smoke. It turned out to be a clone. But Shiki has no time to escape at this moment. Bloody outfit. Kushina's body is just a kick, directly on Shiki's back. Wow. Under the shocking gaze of the pirates again, the great pirate Kaneko Shiki was directly flew by a woman. Smashed to the sea below fiercely. Confirmed. I can't use seeing or smelling. Kushina admitted that she was fast, but it was not so fast that the legendary pirate had no chance to react. That would underestimate the word legend. But one after another, Kushina spoke, and Shiki realized that Kushina was coming behind him. Hidan whispered. Suddenly I feel like I can go to me? Everyone was speechless. Your words will be hacked to death. Golden Lion Slash was not a joke. Huh? It's flying again? Perceiving it, Kushina realized that Shiki hadn't fallen into the sea, so she flew again. Even touched the sea. Lion Majesty Imperial Palace Sea Roll. When Shiki flew up, he floated the water in the sea below. The tsunami flows back. It seems that the whole world has turned over, sweeping out dozens of miles of sea in the sky. Powerful and terrifying. Dover lost his voice again. Lion fruit can still be used like this? That's seawater. Such a huge range will be a nightmare for countless capable people. The sky and the ground are all blocked. People of ordinary ability don't even have the chance to escape. Sorry, my fault. Meeting everyone's eyes again, Doflamingo chuckled. It's embarrassing. Obito shrugged and smiled. It's okay, don't say anything else, this ability is really amazing. Don't be surprised, defend yourself. Looking at the seawater pervading dozens of miles, I skipped Kushina, and rushed toward the flying giant ship. Deidara shouted loudly. Shiki still didn't give up. Still want to take Hyuga Hinata away. Forbidden ha 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 ha, come with me Hinata, only I can bring you supreme glory. Shiki laughed, manipulating the sea to swept over, and the sea washed away, and that little loli would be powerless as a capable person. Do you think I don't exist? Kushina skipped the sea, came to the sky above Shiki, and descended into Shiki in amazement. Titicaca. Hundreds of Kushina appeared in the sky, sealing Shiki up, down, left, and right. They raised their hands one after another, multiple divine destruction. In an instant, thousands of lasers illuminated the sky and submerged Shiki. Boom boom boom. The entire sky is dazzling. Dr. Indy exclaimed. Boss Shiki. Boom. Next moment. A terrifying aura, and an overwhelming armed color erupted in an instant. Break the sky laser directly. Shiki appeared again. It's crackling. At this moment, the whole body was covered with armed color, and conquerors mixed with black and red lightning and storm was advancing arbitrarily. Boss Shiki, Dr. Indy burst into tears instantly. He saw the man who used to be hockey like a mad lion again, but it was also extremely painful. Because of the rudder on Shiki's head. Broken. The rudder shattered. Shiki will die. There will be no scruples. Release Conqueror's hockey. Forbidden ha 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 ha. The little ghosts who live in dreams, let you know what the horror of the real big pirate is. Shiki's power at the moment is far better than before, and it is like a world of difference. Conqueror's winding slash wave. Boom. Chapter 35. Suicide. Kakashi grabs the soul body. Bring it to you. Advertisement here. The slash wave that Golden Lion Shiki cleaved again was much smaller than the previous one, but it was far more powerful than before. Slash wave presents 360 degrees. The speed has also skyrocketed. In an instant, across all directions, Titicaca. Kushina's clones were all shattered, and the conquerors entangled on the slash wave were extremely fierce. Fei Lian feet. Kushina had to retire, this guy. Watching the ship collapse, Shiki of Conqueror's Hockey has no hesitation in releasing Conqueror's Hockey. Kushina noticed. She seemed to release a monster. Die ha 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 ha. The golden lion Shiki was floating in the air and laughed wantonly. Black and red lightning ran in the void, and the invisible storm stirred the clouds in the sky. That power. Show off the style of the big pirate. But Shiki stopped talking nonsense and launched a violent attack on Kushina. Because he is running out of time. Lion Majesty Imperial Palace Sea Roll. Shiki freely manipulates a large range of seawater, covering a piece of sky. Chi 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 chi. This time the seawater, it didn't turn into a lion head, but divided into countless long knives. Armed. The surging armed color turned into a sea tide, surging on the long sword, making the sky dark. Hiss. Dover was shocked again. The tens of thousands of huge long swords full of armed colors in the sky are far more terrifying than the 1,000 arrows piercing heart feather strike line that he is currently developing, with 16 sacred bullets, divine slaying. The armed colors are too massive. The long sword in the sky seemed to transform into a sword formation, and quickly covered the sky and the ground, trapping Kushina to death. It's just some hard long knives. Huh? Even if surrounded by countless black knives turned into seawater, Kushina is not afraid at all. But Shiki's next move, make her say different, slash wave. Shiki kicked at Kushina from a distance, again with a big slash. Not only that, Conqueror's winding, tens of thousands of black long knives entangled Conquerors again, and at the same time swung like an arm to make a big blow. Boom. Atmospheric flakes shattered. The slashing densely constituted a terrifying scene like a knife field with nowhere to go. This scene stunned all the pirates. Hey hey hey. The slash turned into a torrent. With the toughness of armed color, Conqueror's power, all rushed to Kushina. This kind of attack, there really is no gap at all. Kushina did not find any gaps to avoid, and could only counter or defend. Obito was also taken aback. People in this world issue slashes, don't they all need long-term training? He remotely controls a long knife, and can also swing a flying slash? Shiki kicked the chopping wave with his foot. This is nothing, it seems understandable, after all, there is a knife on the foot. But this scene is a bit messy. Doflamingo immediately said, flying slashing is a mental and physical skill under the situation that Gia now understands the breathing of all things, a kind of force technique. Golden Lion controls a long knife, like an arm swing, it can be handled. The voice did not fall. Dover looked towards the sky solemnly. That kind of entangled arm color and Conqueror's slash, every one of them is not something that an ordinary big pirate can resist. 800 shields. In an instant, a glass-like transparent shield blocked Kushina's body. Then one after another spiritual shield appeared, transforming into a huge shield like an octagonal prism, covering her. The sky is bright. Boom. The moment the shield was condensed, it was hit with terror. 10 floors. Dozens of layers. 100 floors. The 600 shields suddenly shattered, and the sky was full of reverberating sounds like glass shattering. Die. After the slash, tens of thousands of black knives turned into black torrents and hit the thin shield. Boom. Strikes one after another. 10 floors, 100 floors. The last 200 floors, shattered instantly. Go away. The terrifying Ryotsu burst out, and the substantive impact on the remaining black knives, directly collapsed like a goddess scattered flowers. This kind of momentum. Shiki, who was about to continue his shot, condensed, feeling Ryotsu's assault, he almost didn't breathe. Far more oppressive than Conqueror's, soul pressure never felt before. Shiki had no doubts. If it is some small pirates and rear admiral, they are likely to be executed directly. The momentum of shocking people? Shiki couldn't help being shocked. According to his insight, Conqueror's is the strongest, shattering the buildings in the earth and the clouds, but the dead people have never heard of it. Oh. When Kushina flew out again. A 5-pointed star appeared on the top of his head, Ryotsu's wings stretched out on his back, and a terrible Ryotsu was exuded all over. What kind of momentum is this? Shiki's expression condensed again. The aura of the woman in front of her was far different than just now. It made him feel uncomfortable. Wow, it has appeared, Kushina-sama's Eucharist. Zuo Ming and others could not help but exclaim. But Deidara was even more curious. What's the defensive move of Sister Kushina just now? Why haven't I seen it? All new skills in the Empire can be checked and learned by them. But just the shield. Might Guy and others have never seen it. Tsunade said casually. That is a higher level of spiritual power in Ryotsu. Turning spiritual power in Ryotsu into shields, Kushina has 800 shields in a flash, and the operation is not small. Your Majesty is currently optimizing, you will learn later. 800 dongs. Shisui guessed. Since there are 800 dongs, are there thousands of dongs? Makoto smiled and nodded. 2 months ago, Lord Hashirama defended against Madara's attack. It was only 3,000 dongs in a flash, and he was still brutally beaten. Everyone's eyelids twitched. Maybe Hashirama-sama angered Ban-sama again, and he would be very sick if he didn't get beaten for a day. Hinata murmured. The teacher challenged Your Majesty before leaving for other planets. Your Majesty used 1,000,000 dongs and played. What? 1,000,000 dongs? Everyone in the Empire with their ears was taken aback, and then they were extremely calm. What does Your Majesty use? Advertisement, that's normal. Do. Dover inadvertently wiped the cold sweat again, his hair exploded. How terrible is Your Majesty? I really scared the baby to death. Do you have any stronger moves? Kushina looked at Shiki plainly, and she could see that Shiki was not far from death. After the ship on his head collapsed, Shiki's life entered a countdown. After all, it was equivalent to a hole in his head. Can last till now. Purely tenacious vitality. Forbidden, ha 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 ha, lousy as gold. Shiki laughed wildly and flopped against dozens of islands floating in the distance. Quack quack. Next moment, excluding the lion-headed main ship, all the remaining floating Sky Island flew over. Boss Shiki. The pirates floating on Sky Island were horrified and desperate. Dr. Indy's eyes were full of tears, and he said coldly, "You garbage on the sea, let's be buried for Shiki. Anyway, it's just the choppy that has been conquered at will in the past few days, and there is no need to talk about loyalty." Boom. Dozens of islands shattered. Each island turned into a huge lion, far more powerful than before, and rushed to Kushina frantically. Brush. Kushina quickly left the encirclement and came to the sky above Shiki. You were waiting. Seeing and hearing the color has been capturing Kushina's movement trajectory, and the moment Kushina arrived, Shiki directly opened up. Conqueror's armed colors burst out one after another. Lion Thousand Slice Valley. Shiki turned around and kicked, freeing Haki wantonly, slashing, armed, and conquerors, the three gathered together. Enter the horrible sword net. A tide of transforming energy blasted towards Kushina. Bachichan Guyu. Kushina flew into the air. Both hands and wings burst out explosive bombs full of destructive energy. Sprinkle all over the sky. Boom. The attacks of the two sides kept colliding, canceling each other, and roaring again and again. Roar. At this moment, Shiki waved his hand and dozens of huge lions struck again. The lion pretends to attack and slashes the main attack. 0. Look for flowers, he will seize the opportunity to crush everything with continuous attacks. Large explosive bombs. In the next moment, Shiki felt that Kushina's clone appeared again in all directions. Throwing huge explosive bombs for a few minutes. Without any gaps, Shiki was surrounded and drowned in the past. Slash wave. Shiki slashed again. Attempting to split a way out of here can make Shiki serious things happen. Slash hit a huge explosive bomb. The huge explosive bomb was immediately broken into pieces and turned into more small explosive bombs to attack. Absolutely, armed. With nowhere to go, Shiki rushed out of the encirclement with his armed forces. Boom. The entire sky is so bright. Dr. Indigo was worried on the last floating main ship. Shiki boss didn't have much time. Wow. The lions in the sky collapsed abruptly, and large swaths of water fell into the sea. Late. Suddenly the main ship shook and Dr. Indy's eyes widened. Dang dang. The main ship swayed again, and even dropped continuously, attracting the attention of everyone in the Empire. This is. The ability to ripen the fruit is ineffective. Could it be that the lion is dead? Looking at the gravel and ships that were starting to fall, everyone immediately looked to the sky again. A red and white figure flashed onto the Imperial giant ship and dropped an object casually. It was the Scarlet Golden Lion, with nothing intact. The two knives on the feet were all broken. Land. Kushina patted her hand lightly and chuckled. You have also seen it. He chose to defend against my explosive bomb, asking for trouble. Puff cough cough. Golden Lion coughed up blood suddenly and was extremely weak. The gap between the slightly opened eyes revealed disbelief. Why can this woman be able to defend against her own ultimatum, but he can't defend against the opponent's ultimatum? He never believed it. Can the explosive bomb just now be stronger than Roger's attack? Seeing the confusion of Golden Lion, Kushina said casually, that's because my explosive bombs cannot be defended. 11 Kushina seems to be a simple and direct bomb attack, but it contains almost regular horror. Or avoid it. Either remotely destroy. You can choose to use your body to resist, no matter how strong the armed color is. Forbidden ha ha ha, that's it. Golden Lion's expression changed, struggling to get up, sitting cross-legged, laughing like a mad lion. Lousy lost to a woman for the first time in his life, and you won. My life, take it. Laughing slightly bitter, but Golden Lion didn't have any indignation. If you lose, it's nothing more than death. From the first day when he was a pirate, he thought of that day. Fight to the death of the sea, it is the glory of the great pirate. Fortunately, the opponent is really strong, and Golden Lion can accept it. If he loses to a little pirate who hasn't been out for a long time, he would be so angry. Tsunade opened his mouth and said, give you a chance to submit to the Empire and avoid death. Laugh ha 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 ha. The Golden Lion Shiki laughed wildly again, his eyes full of mockery. Lousy is a Golden Lion. Boom. The deck of the great Imperial ship shattered and flew into several long knives. What makes everyone strange is that the long knife didn't attack anyone. Flew towards Shiki. Puff chick chick. The long knife runs through all the vitals. Golden Lion chose to self-regulate. Forbidden ha 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 ha. The arrogant lion will never bow his head. Cough cough. Hey, with the body falling down, Golden Lion Shiki, die. This scene made Dover frown. When he dies, devil fruit will appear randomly. Even if it is found, it will take a lot of time to develop. The Imperial plan is interrupted. Dover was puzzled. Why did no one stop it just now? Suicide. Ridiculous. Kakashi, who had been watching, flashed his eyes and scratched it. Chapter Come on You. Shiki's Soul. Chapter 36. The Captain of the Holy Soldiers. I'm the Golden Lion Shiki. Advertisement. What is he doing? Seeing what Kakashi was grasping, Doflamingo didn't understand, but still felt cold inside. Inexplicable. Creepy. Obito City smiled and said, do you know that living bodies have souls? Charlotte Linlin. Subconsciously, Doflamingo thought of something and said a name. Obito puzzled. Girl? Why did you mention her? She is a soul fruit capable person, able to deal with human souls at will, depriving her of life. Speaking of this, fear flashed in Doflamingo's eyes. The woman who played with the soul was too terrifying. Hear what Xiao Ming said. Everyone in the empire was in great interest. Deidara curiously asked, deprived of life? Is there anything else? What's the situation? Why is everyone so interested when it comes to soul? Dover had just joined the empire for a few days, and he had not experienced spiritual baptism, and he did not understand the empire system very well. Dover groaned. As far as I know, anyone who fears her will lose their soul and die, and they can inject souls into animals and dead things and take orders from her. I don't know much about it. Interesting. These few tricks based on soul development are good. I haven't seen him so far, and everyone in the empire doesn't comment on it. After all, moves are moves. Such as martial arts characters, only moves and no internal power cannot be used. What are they looking at? Seeing everyone in the empire look towards the void again, Dover felt a fury in his heart. Hey, show you something fun. Namikaze Naruto leaned over, and a beam of light rushed towards Dover's forehead. 277. Dover subconsciously wanted to hide, but in the end let the light beam sink into his forehead. For an instant, Dover felt that the world had changed. Looking around, he saw dense spots of light. Dover raised his hand to touch, but didn't touch anything. Hiss. When looking into the distance, Dover felt his scalp numb. It was a phantom figure floating in the air, seeming to be heading to Wangshen. Aren't they dead? Dover recognized those people. They were all pirates who were buried when they were magnified by the Golden Lion. Are all souls now? Really? Turning to look at the giant ship, a phantom in Kakashi's hands, Dover felt his worldview collapse again. I just said that Charlotte Linlin is a monster that plays with the soul, and all the people in the empire are. Ching 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 ching. Caught by Kakashi, Shiki's soul screamed in disbelief. Lousy committed suicide. Don't even let the soul go? Kakashi calmly said, as you can see, the so-called physical death is meaningless to the empire. I know you are not afraid of death, so, Obito. Sir, I'm here. Obito ran to salute immediately, looking at the soul of Golden Lion with a playful expression. Kakashi threw Shiki's soul to Obito, and ordered, I have only one request, let him join the empire within 3 days. Sir, it doesn't take 3 days, it will be fine soon. Obito spoke very confidently. His favorite is this kind of fanatic who is not afraid of death. Because they think that after their death, 18 years later, they will be a hero again. But the premise is, you have to die. If you don't die, in another 18 years, you will still be a screaming guy. Ahem, optimistic, little lion. Locking Shiki's soul in the void, Obito grabbed it from a distance, and quickly caught the soul of a dead pirate. The soul is horrified, powerless to struggle. I'll be the first. Deidara walked over and said with a smile, as long as the soul will not collapse, first burn him for 9 days and 9 nights. Talking. The spiritual fire burned up. The soul of the pirate is twisting. Shiki trembled. Dover has been wiping cold sweats, which is terrible, really terrible. Try mine. Obito chuckled and took out a spiritual blade. For every stabbing, repair it once, until 108,000. Puff. Knife pierced. Zizi. Get it out in one fell swoop. The pirate's wound was repaired with green light. Shiki disodium. None of you, the little lion is not afraid at all. Hidan walked over, looked at Kushina and other girls, and coughed lightly. Ladies sirs, it's not suitable to watch next. Call, immediately. Hinata, Tsunade and other women left the giant ship. When the women left, Hidan sneered, I cut the 5th limb of his soul and let him be born in the next life, you know. Spiritualized scissors. Facing the soul of the pirate is a piece of scissors. Crack. Shiki trembled 3 times. Dover retreated again and again. 5th limb. So horrible, huh, but so, after Shiki recovered, he was not afraid at all. Because, he could see that if this goes on, the pirate's soul will collapse sooner or later, no matter how well protected. If he was tortured, he would endure some pain at most. He can go to death generously. That bit of pain is nothing but death sooner or later. Too troublesome. I walked up, and directly smashed the pirate's soul with a spiritual blade. Shiki's soul was startled, and then he sneered. After all, it's not a death. As I said, the big pirate is never afraid of death. I ignored Shiki. A green light appeared on his hands. Ninja art. Meiotic regeneration. The pirate's soul was constantly repaired, and soon, in Shiki's trance, the pirate's soul was intact again. Dan said indifferently. Come directly to the lion, kill him once by one person, and talk about it after 10,000 times. Do. Doflamingo's voice trembled slightly. Are the people of the Holy Empire all demons? When death completely loses its meaning, there is only deep fear. Can't survive. I can't die. Can only passively endure the pain again and again until the mental will completely collapses. Ha, good means. The Holy Empire is really good means. Shiki's soul laughed, his expression uncertain, and finally bowed his head. Lousy. Served. Continue to be proud, meaningless. Everything else is acceptable. The most arrogant Shiki can't accept is the eyes of those imperial soldiers looking at him like toys. This is more uncomfortable than death hundreds of thousands of times. Advertisement scholars can be killed but not insulted. But you can only suffer humiliation if you can't die. Not convinced. Oh, it's boring. The 10,000 saint soldiers sighed together, their faces full of pity, which made Shiki very angry. What do you mean? I really want to line up one by one to humiliate him. It's impossible. You have no chance. Join the Empire, I join. After Shiki drank it, it was very bitter. If he understood the power of the Empire earlier, he vowed that he would never step into North Blue in his entire life. Kakashi said casually. So, you will be the Imperial Saint Soldier from today, and you will start your work tomorrow. Shiki said he didn't want to talk. As long as the soldiers are not allowed to line up to humiliate him, everything is acceptable. The next day. Inside the hall. What? Let me merge the islands of North Blue into a huge land? This is impossible. Shiki in a wheelchair simply couldn't understand. The people of the Empire are too crazy, gathering thousands of islands as one, and don't know how many people are scared to death when it spreads out. Conan said flatly. Why is it impossible? Humph. Shiki snorted subconsciously, and said slightly, do you think celestial dragons haven't thought about it? Tens of thousands of islands and a few pieces of land, everyone knows that the latter is convenient to rule and can greatly eliminate the number of new generations of pirates. But I can't do it. It's not that Shiki looked down on celestial dragons, and if he could do it, he would have done it long ago. First of all, the resistance is too great. Converging on the land, it is obvious that no country agrees to strengthen the rule. One merger. It seems that their respective kingdoms are not too small, but in fact they will give the powerful kingdoms the opportunity to destroy the weak ones. One ebb and flow. How many are left? It will be left to celestial dragons. No matter how strong the world government is, it is also composed of the franchise countries. If the franchise countries all resist, there will be nothing left. Secondly, even if there is no kingdom blocking it, it can't be done. Look down on those medium and large islands. Too much worthy of personal strength. Conan affirmed. Celestial dragons can't do it, they can only say that their strength is too weak, you are also zero. Shiki did not refute. There is a limit to personal strength, otherwise he would have overthrown islands all over the world. Eat it. Throwing the spirit orb to Shiki, Conan took out a huge ball of light. The spirit orb can restore all your injuries, disabilities and even youth, and gain new strength. And this ball of light can increase your strength by at least 20 times and maintain it for more than 10 days, but if it has defects, it will weaken you for more than 10 years, and there will be no sequelae after recovery. From today, move the island. You only have 10 days. Imperial Saint Soldiers. Real or fake? Shiki was dull for a long while. There are only two words left in my mind, repairing everything and regaining youth, the other is not important. Following ha 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 ha, if this is the case, don't call me Saint Soldier in the future. Shiki arrogantly looked around everyone present and spoke loudly. Lousy wants to be the team leader. Pursuit? Where's your hockey? Everyone ignored Shiki's weirdness. This guy is on his own, but he's really not an idiot. See the big and the small. Shiki knows how powerful the Empire is. Guru. When Shiki eats the spirit orb, it is not waiting for him to feel the changes in his body. Just found it in my mind. To be precise, countless basic information about the Holy Empire appeared on the soul. This was reinvented by Lan Yu. The provincial subordinates were very troublesome to explain one by one, and directly engraved their souls. Knowledge can be transferred without eating spirit beads. Shinobi. Skyline. Universe. The heavens. Shiki was silent. Even if his legs are repaired, even if he looks younger, even if he recovers even further, his knowledge is not as shocking as his knowledge. Sitting on the well and watching the sky, what a sorrow. How lucky it is to surrender to His Majesty the Holy Emperor. Follow ha 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 ha, the golden lion Shiki laughed wildly, flew out of the hall and into the sky. After a long time, many surrounding islands heard the loud words from the sky, the golden lion Shiki. Listen well, I am the man who wants to be the captain of the Empire. Captain of the Holy Soldiers, I'm set. Everyone was speechless again. Confirmed. Shiki has a brain problem, at the same time. All North Blue Kingdom forces, and even countless people in the world, are very surprised. What is 5.7? Why did the Holy Empire suddenly retreat? Countless people are paying attention to North Blue. But yesterday all the sacred troops evacuated, even the islands they had laid down before were ignored. This is confusing. How to check? Can't find the movement of the Empire. Except for a large piece of debris and water falling in a certain area of North Blue. The Empire seemed to disappear completely. Isn't the Empire abandoning the Qinghai realm? Kizaru of Naval Headquarters, his eyes are full of worries. He is really afraid that the Empire will suddenly leave Qinghai realm and completely evacuate it and ran to attack other worlds. You go. Take me anyway. The heavens are so wonderful, leaving me alone in the small Qinghai realm and waiting for death. Minister, are you there? Kizaru communicated with Lingza again and contacted White Zetsu, but after waiting for a long time, there was no reply. Moment. Kizaru wanted to cry without tears, he felt abandoned. Am I so unimportant? No, I have to go and see. Just when Kizaru's expression changed, he was about to visit North Blue and Sky Island. A rear admiral messenger broke into the marshal's office in a panic. Marshal, something is not good. The great pirate Golden Lion and Hyuga Hinata of the Holy Empire reappear North Blue. Rear admiral's eyes were full of shock, and his voice became dry. They have innumerable clones, they have moved the islands in a large area, and many islands have disappeared. What? Chapter 37. Sengoku Garp's shock, as big as I want. Advertisement Naval Headquarters, Marshal's Office. Not many generals gather, but they are all people whom Sengoku absolutely trusts, 3 Admiral, Garp, Suru, and a beauty. Everyone was looking at a screen projected by a phone worm, and it was the footage the Marine, who had not evacuated from various parts of the North Blue Branch, took a risk and sent it back. Forbidden, ha 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 ha, 10 days, it's enough for lousy. Before seeing the figure, there was a burst of heroic laughter, which surprised Garp and Sengoku. Garp couldn't help frowning. I only know one man who can have this kind of laughter. That B**********, D, compared to Whitebeard, is a complete lunatic. When Sengoku said this, the generals clearly saw the solemn expression in the marshal's eyes. This, guy, don't you honestly become a legend? Golden Lion Shiki. When Garp's words fell, a figure flew up on the screen, very fast. The screen zooms in. When everyone saw each other clearly, Sengoku and Garp sang and stood up. Impossible. How could such a thing happen? The faces of the two men were filled with disbelief. Because at the first sight of Golden Lion, the two seemed to pull the memory back to the Rock's era. Shiki at that time was young. He has no rudder on his head, blonde hair, double knives in his waist, healthy legs, and he is floating in the air with a cigar in his arms. Only the clothes were changed to white. Especially that old-fashioned face, as young as 30 years old at the moment, makes people almost think that they are wrong. Is it the bat fruit of the Eudemon species? No, it's not right. As soon as he had this thought, Crane died directly. Although it can suck blood to keep the body young, it cannot repair the remnant body. 07 Kizaru exaggerated his expression. Oh, it's terrible, are you rejuvenated? The Empire bosses. You are so terrible. Even the extremely arrogant Golden Lion was overwhelmed. What surprised Kizaru even more was that the Golden Lion was wearing the battle uniform of the Imperial Little Saint. Anyhow, it is a legend. At least be a team leader, right? Obito. This lion has a problem. He has to start from the bottom and dance happily all day long, laughing all the time. It's almost impossible. How is this going? Although Akainu was shocked by Shiki, who had become younger, he was even more shocked by another screen. Shiki is also playing on it. But these two branches are very far apart, and they are transmitted at the same time, which proves to happen almost simultaneously. Sengoku said in a deep voice, the clone. Crane also solemnly said, I only escaped from prison 3 years ago, which means that Golden Lion has joined the Holy Empire for at most 3 years. But in such a short period of time, he has more clone ability. I think everyone knows what this means. Mean. Empires are by no means capable. I can even treat various abilities as Conqueror's Haki, and gain new abilities through learning and practice. This is extremely bad news. If nothing else, the clone ability is placed on the top powerhouse, which is terrifying. The slightest difference sees success or failure. Didn't the news say that he is moving to the island? How did he get to Sark's? Seeing Shiki appearing here, Xingshang was a little puzzled. It's not that he looks down on Shiki, but the area of Sark's island is the largest in North Blue. The real supergiant island, it's like a small continent. It is also the biggest feature of North Blue, because there are 16 kingdoms coexisting on this island. Known as the North Blue 16 countries. If you look at the North Blue map, you can clearly see that the Sark Island occupies a huge area. The larger the island, the more deeply ingrained and completely connected to the Earth's crust, it is impossible for the Golden Lion Shiki to float it up. Split and cook again. Pointless. Forbidden, ha 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 ha. There are some little mice sneaking pictures of lousy, take pictures. Sengoku, Garp, Newgate, Linlin, and Kaido Kid. Don't be scared to death by lousy, Lee ha 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 ha. Shiki obviously saw a marine on a marine ship at sea taking a sneak shot, but he didn't care at all and laughed wildly. It's time to let the world see it. My Golden Lion Shiki is stronger. Daoguang Ball flew from a distance and plunged directly into Shiki's body, shocking him. Shiki's aura. Every second is multiplying. Forbidden, ha ha ha. Lousy feels it. This is the power to overturn the world. Double. 10 times. 20 times. 26 times. Boom. The strength has soared more than 20 times. When Shiki broke out of Conquerors, he deliberately avoided the marine on the sea. It shocked everyone. Boom. Similar to the scene where Whitebeard shattered the atmosphere, the surrounding atmosphere was full of cracks under Shiki's Conquerors. How can this be? Such an exaggerated scene made all the generals' eyes widened. Sengoku was also taken aback. Conquerors cannot be strengthened through exercise. It can only be strengthened by the user's own growth. The current Shiki can use Conquerors to shock countless people. Sizzle. Conquerors shocked to death. Even if the big talker didn't dare to make up like this, it happened before his eyes. Laugh ha 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 ha. I really want to go there and kill a happily. Shiki sneered and looked at the direction of the Holy Land. He felt that he was invincible. There is absolutely no one can last 10 seconds under his hands. Not many people can come. Lousy now can play Newgate, Sengoku, Garp, Rayleigh, Linlin, and Kaido kneel down and call dad. Shiki thought happily. Wait until the work is finished. If you have time, go to New World for a lap. The big pirates don't pretend to be different from salted fish. Don't be intoxicated, work quickly. A cold voice suddenly came from the sky, making Golden Lion agitated. In the stunned eyes of the Marines, this domineering Golden Lion immediately turned into a kitten, standing straight, saluting and shouting. Yes, Captain. Holy Soldier Shiki, promise to complete the mission and fight for the rise of the Empire. Oh my god. Really? Sengoku's eyes popped out and he was almost eaten to death. Is this Shiki? Advertisement, who would dare to believe it? Crane also felt the collapse of the three views and muttered. How did the Empire do it? It's Golden Lion. The rocks that used to be 100 times stronger won't work. Arrogant, 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 domineering. This should be the label of Golden Lion Shiki. Ha 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 ha, if it weren't strengthened so many times, it would be difficult to perfectly use this new power in a short period of time. Golden Lion landed on the edge of Sark's island, touched it lightly, and flew away. Sengoku and others held their breath. Does the Golden Lion want to get acquainted with Sark's? This is impossible. The supergiant island is too big, for lousy, the Golden Lion shouted. Boom. The entire Sark's island trembled, shocking the 16 people on it. Click. There was a cracking sound, which was shocking. But it's still not enough. Shiki frowned slightly and discovered the horror of this supergiant island. Really, it's too big. Call. Aokiji also let out a cold breath, and his tight expression relaxed. Allah, although I don't know why Golden Lion has repaired and became younger, Conqueror's is even more incredible. But the island of Sark's can't be matched by thousands of small islands together. If he could float up, his strength would have swept the world a long time ago. Everyone agrees. Ability consumes physical strength, but it does not mean that you have unlimited physical strength. You have to look at the upper limit. There is an upper limit to the strength of a person. It is the cognition of all the strong. If you destroy the island, you will destroy the island. You can't destroy the world with a single blow, so what else to play, just kneel down. Lan Yu. Ahem, I can definitely handle it. Glancing upwards, seeing Conan frowning slightly, Shiki is a little embarrassed, and he can't be embarrassed here. Holy text, open. Spiritual power Ryotsu exploded. Conan specially brought the plugin, Shiki's strength exploded dozens of times. Give me, shrink, under the shocking eyes of the generals. A circle of light instantly enveloped the island of Sark's, and then an incredible scene happened. Buzz. In an instant, the island of Sark's shrank several times. Dozens of times, hundreds of times, in a blink of an eye, Sark's island has become an ordinary small and medium-sized island. Die ha 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 ha, done. Shiki raised his hand and took Sark's island into the sky, and left a word before leaving. Up to 10 days. It's the moment to witness the miracle. The marine at sea was sluggish. Sengoku and others at marine headquarters also lost their voices. Supergiant island. Moved away by Shiki. What kind of holy power is that? It was Kizaru who was shocked this time, who was surprised by Shiki's sacred characters. His giant of light has the ability to grow bigger. But Shiki shrank the giant island. Is it the villain of light? He was even more shocked. Did you not see? Everything on the island has shrunk, including everyone. Hiss. The scalp is numb. Shiki holy text. Size. It is not the increase of Hitaki Tsukumo, nor the ability of Brindi World. Size. Literally 220 thinking. Put Yamato to reduce itself in everything, and to enlarge and reduce the weight in the same proportion. The seemingly simple size. In terms of science, that is the quantum physics of science fiction. But when it comes to metaphysics, it is covered with a veil of dreams. Because the weight is also expanding and shrinking, it's almost conceptual. Although any ability has limitations, but Shiki, whose strength has increased dozens of times, is just right to shrink a supergiant island. The scariest one. It's still the clone ability. His clone is also shrinking and relocating to the island. It was the beauty Gion who was promoted to Vice Admiral at the same time when 3 Admiral was promoted. Momosagi is also the future candidate for Admiral. I just don't know why. It did not appear during the promotion ceremony, but was awarded secretly. Even starting today, Sengoku is constantly erasing all the records of Marine that exist in the garden, trying to clear the files. Kizaru. Sorry, I guessed it. Hearing Gion's words, the generals looked at the other screens, and the figure of Golden Lion appeared in many places. That is, Hyuga Hinata. In the last few screens, Hyuga Hinata also appeared. She was also relocating the island. They are all small islands, but the efficiency is extremely fast, and the island flies up when the little hand is raised. Humph, Hinata doesn't like being secretly photographed. The azure blue Tensigen is the last scene seen by Sengoku and others. Click. The screen is black. Everyone sank. Those Marines are more ill-fortuned. Immediately, evacuate all Marines in North Blue. Make the video just now. I want the whole world to know about North Blue. Soon, Sengoku made a decision. Regardless of the purpose of the Holy Empire, the whole world must be on guard. 5 elders. They wish the whole world would guard against the Empire and thus unite in resistance. At the same time, I also learned that 5 elders' abandonment of North Blue's plan was to awaken everyone's hostility towards the Empire. When Shiki and Hinata tried to move the island, a few images have gone viral in the world. At the same time, Empire, the necromantic world of heaven. Lan Yu opened his eyes after absorbing the last gleam of energy from the necromantic world of the heavens. It's time to see the scenery of Qinghai Realm. Chapter 38. North Blue Continent is born. Lan Yu arrives. The world is shocked. Advertisement North Blue incident. It spreads all over the world like crazy. The next day, the whole world was shocked, because Shiki, the Golden Lion of the 3 big legends, has joined the Holy Empire. Unbelievably, he became a low-level soldier in the Empire, and his strength was tyrannical many times. Goo la la la, in terms of conqueror's momentum, among the opponents I have fought. My new gate would like to call you the strongest. This is what Whitebeard said very seriously, it is really Shiki's conquerors in the picture is too powerful. Conquerors can actually cause the effect of shock fruit, whoever sees it is shocked. God knows how strong Shiki is now. Third day, the world is at a loss. What is the purpose of Shiki and Hinata moving to the island? Well, isn't it about bombing the new Marijoy with islands? Charlotte Linlin never likes to pay attention to the outside world, it is not interesting to have S*X with men. But Shiki, her old companion, suddenly becoming so strong, Linlin was also afraid. Fourth day, until the 10th day, the whole world is in a weird atmosphere. Now even countless people in East Blue know about North Blue. I can only watch the broken, small, medium, large, huge, and supergiant islands of North Blue disappear one by one. Kingdom of the rest of the sea, this time I was really scared. Countless careerists also directly regard the Holy Empire as a life and death enemy. A whole. If he dares to remove the Ghost Island, Laozi will definitely kill him. Kaido, who was released from prison again, was so jealous that Shiki was no longer the lion he once knew. It's definitely a lot scarier than the rocks before, so Kaido can't understand it. Is there a fruit ability that can increase strength by tens of times? Tell Laozi. In Kaido's eyes, it can be judged that Shiki's conquerors and abilities are at least 20 times stronger. After reaching the top level in the world, let alone 20 times, it can double. Kaido dared to run to the holy place and make a big turn. No. Listening to the boss's words, the little brothers shook their heads again and again, which is impossible. Momo fruit is not good either, there is definitely a problem. Laozi, I don't believe that the old lion can become so strong, there is a kind of him to kill me. Kaido roared on the Ghost Island, but unexpectedly did not run to the North Blue waves. Kaido. Laozi wants to take care of the house and is not free. The 12th day, over North Blue. Kai ha, 90% of the islands have moved over, what should we do next? Looking at the densely packed islands floating ahead, Shiki has an unprecedented sense of accomplishment. An unprecedented feat, will be born in the hands of him and Hinata. Ahem, your abilities and holy scriptures are simply born for moving. Deidara looked at the islands, full of surprise, and finally spoke seriously. I have decided, and I will report to your majesty today, letting you become the deputy minister of transport of the empire. No, I still want to be the captain of the sacred army. Golden Lion Shiki shook his head immediately. To be a man, one has to take one step at a time, and one can't dream of reaching the sky one step at a time, I also said casually. That kind of position is not something Deidara can report, so he smiles embarrassingly. The captains looked at the floating islands with awe. There are more than 5,200 islands here, although most of them are village islands, there are also many large and medium islands. It stands to reason that Shiki can hardly float even if he strengthens his strength more than 20 times for a short period of time. Keisheng text. Size. Not only does it become larger and smaller, but it also reduces its weight, it is currently in a state of shrinking hundreds of times. That's Golden Lion. Too frightening. The people on each island are as small as the people in Shaoringguo, all looking at the sky in horror. Brush. A loli flew in the distance. I have taken care of the remaining islands, please instruct the captain. Hyuga Hinata pulled the remaining island gravity and carved it behind him with some difficulty. When Shiki saw this, he immediately stepped forward to take the island. Slow down, my grandmother, the captain, don't be exhausted. Everyone. Forget it, Shiki's brain is abnormal, everyone is used to it. Little Robin stood on the flying giant ship and said softly, the current plan is very smooth and has come to an end. Next is the island puzzle and land site selection. After discussion, it is too difficult for the islands to be seamlessly connected. For the time being, they will first contact and merge as close as possible. The location is located in the center of North Blue. Everyone respects. The shape of the new land is not important, but if you want to connect seamlessly, it will definitely be damaged badly. As for the North Blue Center, sir, I have something to say. North Blue saluted Doflamingo, and Conan gestured to speak. Dover said earnestly. The North Blue Center is too far away from the intersection of the Grand Line. If an ordinary merchant ship wants to go from the North Blue Center to the Grand Line, it will take at least 1 or 2 months. If there is no island supply in the middle, there will be many accidents. This young man is so witty. Naruluju glanced at Dover with admiration, and said calmly. Then leave an island at every distance between the upside-down mountain and the central land for supply. 4 large sea areas. If you want to go to the Grand Line, you have to cross the Calm Belt, or you can only go to upside-down mountain. 99% of the deaths of the former, half and half of the latter, it all depends on luck and strength. But these are not what the Empire should consider. After winning the world, it will definitely open up the 4 seas. To be rich, build roads first. In that case, Conan flew around to look around the crowd, and nodded to Robin, let's start the whole world live broadcast. Well, let's start, already prepared, little Robin started the video phone worm. With the assistance of the white Zetsu clone, the live signal spreads all over the world. At this moment, the world is paying attention. When the major island forces received the signal and chose to watch, the first thing they saw was that the sky full of small and medium islands fell from the sky. Little Robin whispered. People all over the world, it's time for the Holy Empire to live broadcast North Blue. Countless islands are the characteristics of the world, and they have attracted countless pirates to go to sea. If the North Blue Islands are integrated and turned into the northern state of the Empire can guarantee that within the scope of the northern state, the future North State, no pirates will appear. Wow, before people could see the picture clearly, they heard such fantastic words. Merge islands, turn into North State, sever pirates? Advertisement, it turned out to be for this purpose. Naval headquarters is deadly silent, with mixed feelings. Even the think tank Crane has never thought of such an amazing plan. Manage countless islands, and manage a piece of land. They are two completely different concepts, can effectively solve all chaos. Swish swish. The sky full of islands fell on the sea. The amazing thing is that these islands are far, far apart, and they are all too small. It is like an astrolabe scattered in the center of North Blue, disorderly. Can be the next moment. Forbidden ha 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 ha, there are so many islands, I can't hold on to maintain the holy script. The golden lion Shiki laughed and directly relieved the influence of the holy text. Boom. In the horror of countless people, the seemingly small islands swelled up one by one. Because they have become bigger, the distance between them is shrinking constantly, and the seemingly chaotic arrangement is being connected together neatly and uniformly. Aerial shot from above. An unprecedented land appeared in the center of North Blue, and everyone was shocked. It's so dreamy. Unbelievable. Countless people can't find any words to describe. The North Blue of the chaotic island is completely unified. But in the new Pangu city, the four old stars are quite calm. The four elder blonde star said, it's whimsical. If we could do it, we would have done it a long time ago. Not every land is called Red Line. Don't sink, I in your last name, the foreheads of the remaining four old stars. But the long-bearded five elders frowned. Here again, it's like this again. No future can be seen. Who is interfering? Also at this moment. An accident happened. The islands still trembled, and some wanted to sink into the bottom of the sea. The golden lion Shiki's expression condensed. No, those small islands can still be familiar, but the large islands have no crust support. Trouble. Naruto is also solemn, he even ignored this. Such is heaven. The earth where mankind is. The 5 states above are all connected to the earth's crust, and the continents are the surface of the earth. It is. Now. The islands merge, and the sea below is far away from the bottom of the sea. There is no crustal support, eventually possible. Will sink. Even if it is not sinking, it will flutter everywhere. At this moment, the situation is serious. Unless under the new North State, a piece of support linking the earth's crust is created. Shiki, you. Conan, who was about to say something, stopped suddenly, a surprise flashed in his eyes, turned around and knelt down and said, Welcome to His Majesty the Holy Emperor, Your Majesty? Kushina, Tsunade, Makoto, Hinata, etc. were also very pleasantly surprised when they felt it, and they knelt down and shouted. Welcome to His Majesty the Holy Emperor. The sacred troops knelt and shouted piece by piece. Hiss, my mother. Shiki and Dover were dull for an instant. The Lord of the Two Realms comes. In a trance, the two reacted extremely quickly. Welcome to His Majesty the Holy Emperor. Deafening words resounded over North Blue. It also spread in the videophone, spread all over the world. What? The Lord of the Holy Empire is coming. Although there is no picture in the sky, countless people were shocked by the resounding words. Just the inner respect from Conan and other people made the four old stars envy, jealous and fearful. This is better than. They knelt down and shouted, Lord Yim. Also respect. Excuse me, can I show my face? In informal occasions, no need to be polite. Lan Yu's words washed away gently, passing the crowd like a breeze. They were taken up one after another, there is no resistance. The golden lion Shiki was shocked, and now he is still in a state of strength dozens of times. It will disappear after at least 3 days. He is dozens of times stronger without any resistance. You have done a good job. Perceiving everyone's self-blame, Lan Yu doesn't blame it. The merger of the islands itself is a big project, not that simple. Combine. Lan Yu left a word, blasted throughout North Blue. Boom. All the islands began to connect without any gaps, seemingly roaring, but did not cause any damage. Sink down, sink down. The four old stars roared hysterically, but they became increasingly disappointed and at a loss. But it roared for a few seconds. The land of the North State has stabilized. There is no more disorder. Below the huge Beijo, Lan Yu imagined that dense rocks are connected to the Earth's crust. Unless there is a long crustal movement or an unexpected meteorite impact, it will be as stable as the 5 continents of the Earth. Hiss. The world was shocked. The aerial photography of Beijo is too vast. As powerful as Whitebeard, arrogant as Kaido, and arrogant as an ant, they have set North Blue as a forbidden place. The place where the pirates broke off. The place must not be stepped into. The unseen lord of the empire. The real big horror. North State was born. Let's clean up. Glancing at the huge northern state, Lan Yu could see frightened nobles, royals, pirates, evil parties, etc. No need to exist anymore. Yes, Your Majesty. Chapter 39. There is a problem with the Qinghai world's thinking, the Vinsmoke family. Advertisement: the emergence of North State, when thousands of islands come together. The impact is extremely far-reaching, and the implications are also extremely extraordinary. Don't mention what other people think. For the Empire, conquering countless islands is easier and simpler than taking Beijo. All-round blockade. North State coastline, then cruised by the Imperial flying battleship. It is guaranteed that no one will be able to escape from North State. Any royal family, nobleman, pirate, family, evil party marine, revolutionary army, etc., are lambs to be slaughtered. It's over, damn empire, why do you want to merge all the islands, and what is the North State? Damn it, can't escape. Kingdoms, wicked party careerists, etc. are like grasshoppers on a hot pot, and are impatient. As soon as North State came out, disrupted everyone's plan. The coastline was blocked, and it became an extravagant hope for them to escape North Blue. Everyone in North State is listening. The civilians are not hindered, the rest of any power, especially the royal clans and pirates, and all the evil parties, give everything and submit to the empire. Unacceptable, die, run, die, resist, die. Words continued to reverberate in the sky. Obito held the sonic horn of the Academy of Sciences, and his voice spread throughout North State. At the same time, some sage soldiers stayed behind to block the coastline, and the rest of the sage soldiers and even Kushina and others opened their clones. Start from the coastline, continue to advance internally. First clean up a wave of the most stubborn elements, and then clean up a wave of careerists. Finally, investigate each person's identity in detail. All qualified people become citizens of the Empire. The information is entered into the intelligence department of the Empire and identity documents are distributed. Be sure to eliminate all hidden dangers in Beijo. Hey, little devil, can I go to see your majesty? Glancing towards the sky, Shiki the Golden Lion quickly lowered his head and asked Naruto beside him. Not waiting for Naruto to speak, 223 Sasuke arrogantly said, just you? Where is the qualification of the little saint? Wait until you become the captain. Captain? Shiki ignored Sasuke's arrogance, and he was not arrogant in vain. This is what a young genius should be. Naruto. A genius? Just him. A fool. Sasuke turned around and said with disdain, don't look at Xiao Ming in the distance. You are not even a holy soldier, and you are even less qualified. Xiao Ming, your uncle? Dover suddenly understood why this man named Sasuke was a little saint now. The rough nerve named Naruto may be stupid and always doing wrong things, but when this kid speaks, it makes people want to hit him. What a pity. The most regrettable thing for Shiki at the moment is not to visit Lan Yu, but there will be opportunities in the future. But his strength increased by dozens of times is about to expire. If Lan Yu does not come, so now he should have come to the New World and beat Whitebeard, Kaido, Lin and others on the ground. They are all old companions. It must be forced. But now, Lan Yu is present, Shiki is afraid to go out and clean up Beijo as soon as possible. Cannot be cleaned up in a short time. After the increase expires, there is a period of weakness. For Kaido and others to kneel down and call dad, Shiki lost the opportunity. Now, Lan Yu only cares about civilians, above the sky. Lan Yu sat on the throne, closed his eyes and listened to the thoughts of all the civilians. Ah, great, the other islands are too far away. I have never been out of the island in my life, but now I can travel all over North Blue. The empire is too great, haha, my oranges can finally be sold. Unprecedented feat. You don't need to go to sea in the future, just do business in Beijo, the sea is too dangerous. Those pirates deserve to die, count me, I will join the empire to kill the pirates. King Charles of damn it, you have finally received retribution, and the royal family who killed us shall go to death. Really, fake? Will even the mafia clean up? If this is the case, I am willing to dedicate everything to the empire? Yes, my wife, hurry up and take out all the money in the family. You can't just let the empire pay and give us a share of strength. May the empire be immortal. Listen, what a simple and beautiful voice. In Lan Yu's view, the cheers of the common people are the foundation of the stability of the empire. I didn't care before, but at the moment North State was born, all the kind civilians in North Blue were imperial citizens. People of the empire, no one is allowed to hurt. As long as the people of the empire live well, where will there be any pirates? At present, Beijo is still being cleaned up and is unstable, but Lan Yu believes that peace will usher in stability. If it is stable, some people still want to go to sea to be a pirate? Some people still regard pirates as glory, still thinking about what One Piece? Then Lan Yu can only say, brain damage. Even the thief and the adventurer can't distinguish between them. Obviously they are mentally retarded, and living is a waste of food. Your Majesty, many people in Shanghai have deformed thinking. In their cognition, pirates represent freedom. They are not ashamed of thieves, Secretary General Athena said calmly. Everyone knows where the ninja world and the Celestial Empire are located. Thief is a derogatory term. The city represents scourge and destruction. A city is a person who has caused serious harm to the country, the people, and social morals. But it is in the Qinghai realm, the morbid pursuit of the thief. So, how important education is, few people in Qinghai have read books. Lan Yu traveled all over the Qinghai realm, from the beginning to the end, he could not find a few cultural people. I have been stalking since I was a child, and my moral thoughts are all random studies. Learn from whoever has a big influence. Some people go to sea as pirates, but they can still get the blessing of the whole village. The bounty is high, and the whole village cries for joy? Advertisement. Lan Yu admires what a strange idea is this. After understanding the sickness of this world, Naruto couldn't help but smile for a long time. Educating such a world is really a big project. Generals fight the world. Duo Wenshin was exhausted. You should think so. Even such a sick world can be educated well, then other worlds will be easy, Lu Ju. Lan Yu said, motioning Lu Ju to listen to the voice of the civilians. Listen, in fact, most civilians hate the word thief. Can't be too general, your majesty is wise, Naruluji first said. This is also the reason why Lu Ju is not too upset if all civilians think it is a good word. Then the world is completely hopeless, destroy it now. Your majesty, you are tired of retreat, or should I accompany you to go to other sea areas, AHFH, to relax? The proposal is Uchiha Makoto who is still gentle in water no matter how many years have passed. After the North State has stabilized, Lan Yu looked at Loli who was raised by herself and spoke softly. Hearing this, Conan preached, speed up the process, don't talk nonsense with any resistance forces, kill it on the spot. Yes, Captain. The sacred troops accelerated their advance. At this time, Little Robin said, although the islands are merged, there are many ships in North Blue that must be dealt with. Hyuga Hinata also nodded and said, yes, I saw a strange fleet before. There are more people on it than ordinary islands. It should be a force from North Blue. Strange fleet. Lan Yu perceives the whole area of North Blue and quickly sees the fleet. Or, it is a special island composed of a fleet, this hair. Lan Yu feels interesting, it's the 5 kids with different hair colors above. Subconsciously, Lan Yu thinks of the earth-killing Mat's burial family. Hair is more individual than one. Although the force is low, technology still has some value, reported to Orochimaru. Lan Yu doesn't know much about technology, but the Imperial Academy of Sciences is definitely interested. Vinsmoke, kneel down, North Blue, in a certain sea area. There is a special island here, and it is the only island that has not been merged into North State. Because the island here is composed of giant snail ships and can be separated at any time. Derma 66. In the cognition of many people in this world, it is a fictitious army, but it does exist. It is the warforce of the Kingdom of Germa, and the Vinsmoke family is the top of this country. The reason why the name of the army has 66, it is because the Kingdom of Germa once ruled the entire North Blue for 66 days. 66 is the glory of the Kingdom of Germa, now, inside a wide hall. Vinsmoke Judge, the blonde mopping the floor, has a low, painful and desperate voice. Our dream has been shattered. The undead who are buried under the relics of our 66-day dream, who can't even set foot on the land of our hometown, I have no face anymore. The advent of the Holy Empire directly smashed the Dirma Kingdom to reunite all the ambitions and dreams of North Blue. Especially the birth of North State. Led the entire North Blue only the Kingdom of Germa drifting on the sea alone. Now, they only have 3 options. First, flee North Blue while the Empire cleans up the North State and does not care about them. Second, start the Kingdom of Germa, head towards the North State, and moths fighting the fire. Third, take the initiative to surrender. Father, go to war with the Empire. Yes, they currently only have 10,000 people, and we have more soldiers. Who loses and who wins is not necessarily true. I saw the 3 children of blue hair, red hair, and green hair yelling. Very weak Vinsmoke Solaw immediately grabbed the 3 children and said softly, don't talk nonsense, you know? But the 3 bear children looked upset, there was no emotion in their eyes, and said at the same time, Mother, you are too courageous. Presumptuous. Get out of me. Seeing the 3 children talking to Sora like this, Judge was furious. He regretted for the first time that he erased the emotions of the children. Others do not matter. But even his own mother is not respected, it is difficult for Judge to accept, because Solaw is his princess. Humph, Ig, Niji, and Yuji snorted, turned and left. Seeing Solaw's sadness, the 5-year-old Reiju couldn't help crying. Mother, they are machines with no emotions. You are not in good health, don't be sad. Sora shook her head slightly. In order to prevent Judge from transforming the children into machines, she took drugs that affect bloodline factors during pregnancy. But it turned out that only the 3rd son was recovered by the drug, and the other 3 failed to prevent it. Her body also gradually weakened due to the sequelae of the drug. I'm alive in a few years. Mother, you can try this. I made it specially for you, it is very nutritious. At this time, a yellow-haired child ran in, carrying a bowl of soup. Seeing this rubbish son, Judge was angry. You ran to the kitchen again, didn't you? Cooking is a job for inferior people. Judge couldn't understand. You are only 2 years old. So short. Can you reach the stove? Boom, at this time? The 3 children flew back upside down, smashed the table, and were seriously injured on the spot. Judge was surprised. Who is it? Yahahaha, those 3 rubbish are your children? Even the Dean of the Imperial Academy of Sciences dared to defend and seek death. A disdainful sneer sounded. Enel, who finally left the Academy of Sciences, walked in, letting go, and spoke respectfully. Master Orochimaru, please. Chapter 40. Little Sanji. Master Orochimaru praised me, so happy. Advertisement, Dean of the Imperial Academy of Sciences? Hearing Enel's words, Judge couldn't help being surprised, the Holy Empire really came. It's just that I didn't expect it to come so fast. What? What should I do? How many people are they here? Before he knew it, Judge didn't even notice it, and his forehead was covered with cold sweat. Ruji is hypocritical and selfish, and has the arrogance of being a royal family. But the same. When encountering danger, Judge is very cowardly and would cry and beg others to save him. But now, who can save him? Holy Empire, Xiao Lei and Xiao Sanji were shocked. They are still small, although I don't know much. But many times I saw a strong father, and he was afraid of mentioning an empire. Obviously the opponent is very strong. Why, I want to laugh so much, they are obviously my brother and younger brother. The 2-year-old Sanji glanced at Ig and Niji Yuji, who fell on the ground without knowing his life or death. Although these three are still 2-year-old like him, they have been bullying and taunting him for a long time. Little Sanji didn't understand, maybe their brains are broken. Tread, step, step, there were steady and powerful footsteps. When Judge looked around, he saw 2 men in white coats walking in. The leader is very elegant, wearing gold glasses, and his face is a little pale. One step back is wearing round glasses, smiling, and playing with a scalpel in his hand. Get out of here. When he came to Judge's side in a flash, Enel kicked up. Damn it. Seeing Enel's unhappiness or slowness, but trampling on the royal dignity foot, Judge looked like a wolf. The same raises the foot, electromagnetic shatter. Dense high-voltage currents appear on technological boots, which can cause physical and electric shock injuries. Yahahaha, playing video games in front of the god, do you want to laugh at the god? Before the words fell, Enel exploded with thunder and lightning with disdain, which was far greater than Judge's. Thunderfruit. Seeing Enel's feet turn into thunder and lightning, Judge's heart was shaken. I suddenly thought of the devil fruit that was judged by the world to be almost invincible. Boom. 2 feet collide. The current burst. G suddenly felt a violent energy blast the technology boots, his whole body numb, and he flew out directly. Bang bang bang. Smashed several pillars one after another. Judge half kneeled in embarrassment. There was a scorch mark on his body, and the mask on his head was shattered. Father, Lei and Sanji exclaimed. Princess Sola has already ran over. Yahahaha, you think that this god is a fool in the Academy of Sciences these days. Enel spoke arrogantly. What he respected Orochimaru most was that. Although he was dissected, but he explained a lot about the use of thunder and lightning, and he suddenly realized that he was shocked. The basic. Electricity generates magnetism, and magnetism generates electricity. And Orochimaru also arranged many development directions for Enel, such as increasing the voltage while strengthening the current intensity. Although the voltage and current are directly proportional, the current is sometimes more harmful. There are also direct lightning, electromagnetic pulses, spherical lightning, cloud flashes, and so on. And also, super lightning. That is, let Enel simulate, learn and use all the lightning that may be born in nature. Nature is the best teacher for Logia-capable people. Finally, increase the lightning temperature, to know. In the daily world, the temperature of lightning ranges from 17,000 to 28,000 degrees, which is 3 to 5 times the surface temperature of the sun. Although it broke out instantly, but still terrifying. In Shanghai, the limit temperature of Thunderfruit is still uncertain, but it is likely to increase even higher. Also, Lord Orochimaru said that there must be people with the ability of insulators such as rubber in the world. I also want to eliminate this weakness. The easiest way is to kill him directly. Technology is power. I'm sorry, Captain Obito, I want to be an intern at the Academy of Sciences. Abandoning someone named Uchiha Obito directly, Enel will follow in the footsteps of the Academy of Sciences. Master Orochimaru, please sit down. Afterwards, Enel respectfully invited Orochimaru to the throne of judge. I'm interested. Orochimaru chuckled slightly. Enel feels like a spring breeze, and is full of touch. Really? Obito boy and Orochimaru-sama compare, that guy will only cheat him. Puff cough cough. Signaling Sola and the children to step back, Judge spit out a mouthful of blood and stood up with a gloomy expression on his feet. Yakushi Kabuto said flatly, you are welcome to resist. Of course, if you want to rely on the troops of the Germa Kingdom, I advise you to give up. What's the meaning? Judge was shocked, then horrified. The opponent can enter here as if walking on the ground, until now no soldiers have come in. Obviously, the army outside had been resolved, but he didn't even notice it. What kind of strength is this? Those soldiers have been transformed and cloned. They have the characteristics of fearlessness and absolute obedience. North Blue is an absolute elite soldier. All can be resolved silently. Judge's heart sank to the bottom. You should know what the greatest value of the Germa Kingdom is. Orochimaru raised his hand slightly, a cup of tea appeared, and he took a calm sip and prepared to put it down. Enel hurriedly dragged his hands and waited at any time. Glancing at the long-eared monster, Yakushi Kabuto expressed his conviction. The other side's indifferent appearance made Judge somehow panicked. Orochimaru stared at Judge calmly. Don't make me feel that you have no value, okay? Tick. Tick. Under the shock of Lil Sanji, his father, Judge, was sweating profusely and kept falling. Advertisement. Obviously, Judge was nervous. He didn't know why he was so scared. That kind of invisible oppression made him scared. Judge, hand it over, Sora said softly from the side. If you lose your life, what's the point of guarding those things? Okay, I will pay it. After saying this, Judge slumped directly on the ground, his eyes blank. The dream was completely broken. His efforts for so many years are ridiculous in the face of absolute power. That's it, Enel change. His face was full of contempt for Judge. Just this is a delusion to unify North Blue, there's no boldness at all. If Judge dared to refute Orochimaru loudly, Enel would treat him differently. Judge. Rebuttal? You've been waiting for me to get in, right? I'm not an idiot. Reiju. Looking at the agitated little Reiju, Judge said with a face. Go to the second compartment of the red cabinet in my room, the code 110, take it out, as soon as possible. Yes, my father. Little Reiju turned around and ran. Immediately, Judge said solemnly. Since you are the Dean of the Academy of Sciences, I think you should understand that something is very mysterious. The treasure of my Germa kingdom has touched the realm of gods. God's realm. Enel disdainfully said. Just ask, what kind of treasure can make people immortal? Jia was taken aback. Enel continued. Can people stop eating, drinking, and sleeping? Judge was confused. Enel continued. Can people be born with strong power? His 3 questions are all descriptions of the gods of the heavens, and all of the above gods. Upon hearing the last question, Judge said immediately, of course, IG and the others have a superhuman body after transformation, with strong skin and strong resilience. They will grow stronger when they grow up and exercise. Just these 3 wastes? Enel was slightly surprised. Immediately, he looked at the 3 little A** who was kicked by him and was about to die. Judge's face turned dark. They are only 2 years old, they are still children. NS. Enel was even more disdainful. He pointed his finger to the side and said, what kind of transformation? I think it is not as strong as that little yellow hair. Little Sanji. Judge got angry. The 3rd son is just a trash. How can it be compared with IG and others? What kind of look is this person? But what made Judge even more annoyed and confused was that Orochimaru said flatly, I'm pretty sure to tell you that the 3 on the ground must not grow up as good as this kid. Little Sanji. I was praised by this adult. I am inexplicably happy. Why? Judge retorted loudly for the first time. Forget about dignity or something. But Orochimaru was shattering his ideas, shattering his cognition as a scientist. A life without emotion fundamentally fixes the upper limit and erases all potential. In Judge's sluggishness, Orochimaru slowly said, a person like you doesn't know what a strong one is. The strongest is the heart, and their hearts are already dead. Died? Isn't that just waste? Judge looked in a daze. He eliminated his children's emotions, just to make them stronger, because he felt that emotions such as compassion and kindness would only make people weaker. Now, father. Little Reiju ran over, carrying a gorgeous box in his hand. Hey, Orochimaru raised his hand and pulled it over. After opening it, there were thick documents and several jars of various colors. Seeing this scene, Judge's spirit rose again, and he said solemnly, it is recorded that when I was young when I was developing a weapon with Vegapunk, I accidentally discovered the blood factor of the creature. It's also a life plan. The height adjustment of this discovery touched the realm of the gods, and even made the world government deemed extremely dangerous and captured Vegapunk. Only I escaped. Orochimaru did not speak. But Orochimaru remembered the name Vegapunk, and White Zetsu also mentioned it. It is said to be a scientist who has been called by people in this world to have surpassed human wisdom for 500 years. The reproduction and transformation of life. Man-made devil fruit conjecture, huge human conjecture, human-enhanced conjecture, strongest weapon conjecture. The bloodline factor stores all the information about the race, birth, growth, apoptosis and other processes of life. Orochimaru murmured the opening paragraphs, and the more they looked at them, the more they were wrong. Yakushi Kabuto was surprised. Isn't this DNA? The genetics of the Academy of Sciences. DNA? Genetics? Judge was taken aback. What are they talking about? Orochimaru flipped through it at will, and said calmly, it's not all genetics. I can only say that it is partially similar. There are also a lot of new knowledge points, which can bring me a lot of new ideas. These things have the value to keep you alive, Orochimaru is sure. The contents are all basic things and conjectures. Obviously, Judge hasn't studied deeply, so the path is a bit crooked. Deeper technology. Probably in the hands of Vegapunk. Call. Judge couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. He even gave out the most precious blood factor just to survive. Enel stepped forward and said flatly, listen, from today, you are no longer a royal family, disband the kingdom of Germa. And you, join the Imperial Academy of Sciences, and your family will become citizens of the Empire. With that said, Enel glanced at the 3 of IG who had not yet woken up, and sneered. It is necessary to remind you that the laws of the Empire are strict. If you make any mistakes, no one can save them. Give you 3 days and take your family to report in Beijo. The words fell. Orochimaru didn't look at Judge, got up and left. Yakushi Kabuto, Ani and Lu also kept up, 10 minutes later. After the 3 of them stayed away completely, Judge ran out of the hall like crazy, and inspected each ship like crazy. But the soldiers who were cloned and transformed all suffered unknown damage. Everything was silent. Dead, all dead. Ah, Holy Empire, you are so cruel. Judge growled, almost vomiting blood and died, angrily attacked the heart. Fainted. Chapter 41. Monet, Sugar, Baby 5, The Encounter of Dover and Luo. Advertisement North Blue enters the Empire. The world is surging. But no one dared to enter North Blue at this moment because it turned the sky over there. The Empire has no interest in the opinions of others. The focus is all on North State. Wow, is this Beijo? It's too big, you can't see the end at all. Dozens of huge snail boats had all the flags removed from them. Little Sanji on the boat extended his eyes to look at Bishu. It's incredible. Xiao Lei also looked on tiptoes, and was currently at least 100 nautical miles away from Beijo. But you can still clearly see part of the coastline of Beijo, a miraculous place in Qinghai. My dream, it's time to wake up. Judge murmured, then turned to the weak Sola and said seriously. I must work hard and ask the Empire to heal you. Sora nodded slightly, her eyes a little worried. Sanji and Reiju are nothing, but what about Ig and others? Enel said before leaving. The laws of the Empire are strict, and many crimes are capital crimes, and no one can be saved. The three of Ig are machines without emotion. It's nothing young now, and the more you grow up in the future, the more jerk you will get, and you will definitely make troubles everywhere. Thinking of this, Judge's eyes were cruel. See if you can recover. If you can't recover, put them in confinement for a lifetime. Sora wanted to say something, but in the end sighed. The moment they lost their emotions, 2, 3, they were already dead. Hey, there was a sound of breaking through the air in the distance. Little Sanji exclaimed. Wow, that's amazing, he can only fly into the sky. Shush, Sanji, don't say anything. Little Reiju motioned to Sanji to shut up. Little Sanji nodded repeatedly, he listened to his sister. Why do you guys come so slowly and almost overtime? Do you want to die? Deidara Lingza paved the way and landed on the snailboat and spoke unceremoniously. Sorry, my lord. Judge was full of apologies, and the voice changed. I have sorted out all the resources of the Germa Kingdom these days, and I am willing to dedicate everything to the Empire. Without the word kingdom, North Blue will only have the Holy Empire in the future. As Deidara said, she also looked at boxes after boxes of items on other ships, and her tone eased a little. If you are smart, then the ship will drive faster. You are the first batch of Empire citizens to distribute ID cards in North State. In addition, Deidara turned around and glared at Sanji. Don't look at me like an animal, kid, do you want to be beaten? Little Sanji said in a simple way. I think you are so amazing, and your hair is the same color as mine. Deidara looked at him carefully and smiled and said, you have a good look with curly eyebrows, I am really good. Little Sanji is anxious. I'm not curling my eyebrows, it's circles. Isn't a circle just the roll? Seeing you are not very smart, you can only become a cook when you grow up. Deidara was smiling, but Sanji was shocked when she saw it. How do you know that I want to be a cook? Deidara regretted it. Judge also has a dark face. After finally being able to talk to the adults of the Empire, you actually said that you want to be a cook, and Lousy is so angry. Forget it, everyone has ambitions. If you become your Majesty's royal cook someday, I will call your lord. Deidara uttered a random sentence, then left the road and left with a sentence. Hurry up, it's out of date. At the same time, Eastern North State. Just settled a rebellious royal family. Kushina was a little surprised and felt a little snow falling around her. Is the weather here so weird? It was still the sun just now. Kushina looked up, the sky was still sunny, but snow fell in the sky. This kind of scene makes Kushina a little surprised. Snowflakes, it should be Logia. There, perceiving the source of the snowflakes, Kushina disappeared instantly. In a small dilapidated room, there are two girls, one big and one small, curled up. It seems that about 3 years old, the little girl with short cyan hair is worried. Sister, are you okay? Ahem, I'm fine. 11-year-old Loli with long green hair coughed and said uncomfortably. The fruit just now is so unpalatable. The two girls have been very unfortunate since they were young, and had no food for 3 days. But because of the emergence of Beijo and the chaos of the kingdom's army, the green-haired Loli found an opportunity. He sneaked into the house of a nobleman who had run away with money, went around to the kitchen to get some food, and found a beautiful box that had fallen on the ground. Although LVFA Loli didn't know much about it, he guessed it was devil fruit after opening it, representing wealth and power. She chose the latter and ate it so that she could better protect her sister. So there was a scene where the snowflakes just fell. Monet is 11 years old, and Sugar is 3 years old. Two girls who were supposed to join the Don Quixote family only 7 years later. The original track became a cadre. Monet's Logia snowfruit. It should be after joining the family, but now everything has changed. The two had not joined the family before they were young, and Monet also ate snowfruit early. Wow, sister, your hand is so beautiful. The Sugar exclaimed. Monet's hands turned into snow, and the white color made the Sugar unable to help eating a few more grapes. She loves grapes the most. Not only the hands are beautiful, but the people are also very cute. Suddenly there was a sound. Monet's little Loli immediately blushed and was very happy. Oh, no. She is a little Loli who can't stand the praise. Once she hears someone complimenting her appearance, she will become very happy, and she will be very delicate and shy. After the ridiculousness was over, Monet was on guard. Who is it? Advertisement, Logia, what a surprise, it's a little girl, and even more a surprise. As the words fell, Kushina appeared in front of the two little girls, eyes full of appreciation. Logia is extremely rare, not to mention female Logia, which is rare in history. Moreover, the two little girls are very cute. You are from the Empire. Seeing the badge on the opponent's body, which was the same as the person who had just attacked the royal army, Monet recognized it. This sentence is wrong. Amazed by Monet and Sugar, Kushina stepped forward and hugged the two women, and said with a chuckle, it should be said that we are all imperial, do you understand? Humph. Murmured. Tears fell. Seeing the two girls crying, Kushina looked startled. What's wrong? Did my sister scare you? No, it's not. Monet wiped his tears and coughed. Since no one has ever hugged us. Granule even sobbed. Sister, this beautiful sister is so warm in her arms. It turned out to be so. Orphan again. Kushina took a deep breath and chuckled. Don't worry, all the suffering is over. You will have a good time in the future. With that, Kushina looked at the corner. Don't hide, come here too. You, do you need me? The timid and surprised little girl's voice sounded, and Monet and Sugar couldn't help but look at it. She is a black-haired little girl who looks like 5 years old. She wears shabby clothes. She has a dirty face, but her eyes are exceptionally bright. Need you? What do you mean? Seeing the little girl, Kushina knew she was another child in suffering. But I didn't understand what the other party meant. The dark-haired girl looked up expectantly. If you need me, I will follow you. 5 years old, BABY5. The original track, joined the Don Quixote family a few years later, as -0 of 100 children taken in by Dover. It was added a few years earlier than Monet and Sugar. The three of them shouldn't even appear in a kingdom area, but the major islands merge. Baby -5 came here accidentally from a nearby area. It also happened to appear around Monet and Sugar's room, attracted by snowflakes. You are really interesting, then follow me. Slightly interested in Baby 5's words, Kushina didn't mind taking one more. After all, the Empire wants to gather all orphans and give them a warm home. Really? Great, I am finally needed. Baby -5 jumped up happily on the spot, making Monet and Sugar confused. Her family was very poor. After she was born, she was regarded as a waste of food and useless. Finally abandoned by his mother. God knows how to come here so young. Also because of being abandoned, Baby -5 hopes to be needed by others. As long as it is needed by others, it cannot refuse others. If Baby -5 grew up along the original trajectory, it would be the kind that can marry anyone just because of the need, without hesitation. This kind of thinking is bad. Lan Yu who saw this scene. I don't know what to say. Although the Empire wants to gather all the orphans in North State, it will see these children sooner or later. But on the same day, it was a miracle that Kushina found 3 women at the same time. You can find both childlike fruits and weapon fruits. Monet unexpectedly had snow fruit, but Sugar and Baby -5 did not have their own fruits yet. Lan Yu is most interested in these 2 fruit abilities. Childlike fruit, almost conceptual. Weapon fruit, the treasure of science and technology. These 2 fruits have great potential, especially weapons fruits. What is a weapon? All combat tools used for attack or defense are weapons. Find the right person to eat the weapon fruit, and then give it to the Academy of Sciences to train it. That is a bug. At the same time, North State, White Town, Frevens. This once prosperous country is now crying. This country has formed a peculiar landscape of white and flawless trees and ground due to underground, lead, minerals, which are also excellent raw materials. 5.7 The world government has concealed the truth about the amber lead mine. Mining can cause people to suffer from amber lead disease, and the accumulation of trace toxins will make the lifespan of each generation of citizens become shorter and shorter. Those who are sick can only watch their whole body become whiter and whiter, and die while enduring severe pain throughout the body. Although it is not contagious, but the whole country is suffering from this disease. Countless people died without knowing the truth. I actually took on this kind of task. It really looks less and less like myself. Doflamingo stepped into the White Town without knowing it. Task. While the Empire cleans up North State, gather orphans in North State. The Empire has not yet been cleaned up here, so Dover chose the White Town. As soon as he entered the White Town, Doflamingo saw a 7-year-old child with a moderate cap coming over. Seeing the badge on Dover's body, the little boy knelt down, pleading. You are from the Empire, please, save my parents, please. Which Xiao, you can actually recognize the badge, stand up first, what's your name? The little boy said immediately and said his full name without hiding. Trafalgar, D. Waterlaw. Chapter 42, Brooks Horror discovered that Lan Yu stepped into Wangshen. Advertisement, another one. Unexpectedly, a chance encounter within reason. After Kushina met Monet's 3 lowly, Dover met Luo. Lan Yu sometimes likes to watch these different changes. The Empire has come. If everything in the world remains the same, then Lan Yu will think that the Empire is a failure. From the moment the Empire descended, the original trajectory of this world had been blurred. Blackbeard may defect tomorrow. Ace may accidentally die the day after tomorrow. Red hair may be hacked to death the day after tomorrow. Everything is possible. The world's trajectory can no longer be viewed with the original eyes, and the butterfly effect is being produced everywhere. Hearing D in Luo's full name, Dover was slightly surprised and didn't care. Whether it's D or D when the Empire came, no matter how awesome D, it could only be a joke. Yes, my lord. Luo nodded, kneeled and hit the ground fiercely with his head, and pleaded again. Please, save my parents, save this country. Get up and talk about it. Dover raised his hand and hooked Luo, who was kneeling on the ground, with a thread. Luo, who got up, still said seriously, as long as you save my parents, I am willing to do anything for you. Duo, really firm gaze, it's rare to see. Dover smiled indifferently, and then pointed to Sky's path. Have you seen, the Empire is clearing the North State in all directions, and soon the white color will reach the town. Every person has a chance to be saved. Luo knows this. After all, the whole territory has been notified. But his parents are already dying, and they may die today. He is afraid that he will not wait for the Empire to save him. Dover is his hope. Luo, 7 years old this year. The original track, the country broke down at the age of 10, and joined the Don Quixote family in order to avenge the world. At the age of 13, Rocinante forced 07 Luo to eat op fruit to treat the disease. Because Rocinante was killed, he rebelled against the family and hated Dover. But now, Luo's parents are still there, not to join the family to meet Rocinante, let alone Rocinante is dead. Luo and Dover met for the first time. Huh? Everyone is recovering from illness, can you tell me what happened here? Dover said as he walked. Surprisingly, everyone here was pale, and their hair was also graying. Luo clenched his fist and said in pain, I don't know what happened, but everyone in White Town is suffering from the lead disease. Even as a doctor's father, there is no cure. Are you suffering from it too? Seeing the same weak Luo, Dover frowned slightly. Lead disease is terminally ill. He can't guarantee. Can the empire be cured? If it cannot be cured, then we can only abandon this country where everyone is seriously ill. I am not afraid of death, but I don't want my parents to die. Luo's eyes were red. Since he was sensible, his parents and everyone he knew were sick. He also secretly heard his father, who was a doctor, said to his mother, our poor child, but lives for 6 years. 6 years. Now at the age of 7, Luo can only live until he is 13 and die, and his parents will die faster. One can imagine how desperate Luo is. Don't you all know? Looking at the confusion on everyone's face, Dover said something that made Luo even more desperate. PB lead disease is poisoned under the long-term influence of this kind of minerals. If I remember correctly, the white cities and towns are the country where the special amber lead is produced. You didn't even prevent it. What? Luo was dull. Amber lead is the pride of white towns, because the sale of amber lead makes this country prosperous. Who would have thought it was the source of the disease? Thinking of what? Luo retorted, but my father said that our country is rich because of the world government's strong support for lead mining. Speaking of last, Luo lost his eyes. Dududu, that's it, the world government concealed the truth and fooled everyone in this country. Dover also felt ridiculous for the ignorance of this country. The cause of the disease can be seen literally, but even the doctors here are kept in the dark. You are too naive. In fact, the world government blocked all exit roads in the white towns, and those who went out to seek medical treatment were also killed. Lead to this country. Nobody knows the truth. 3 years later, when the war broke out, the truth of the matter was solved, making Luo angrily to retaliate against the world. It seems that my mission cannot continue here, and I can't save you. Knowing the cause of this country, Dover felt a little helpless, who knew that the empire could not be saved. I'll report it, wait a minute. Thank you, my lord, if I can survive, I will repay my favor. Luo knelt down again and kept looking at Dover, trying to write down his face. Dudu, thank you for not having to thank the empire, but don't hold on too much hope, this disease is terminally ill. Dover shrugged and didn't take Luo's gratitude seriously at all. It was just a child, and he would forget it when he grew up. Interesting. Seeing this scene, Lan Yu suddenly felt interesting. Those who avenge become those who repay gratitude. The world is changing all the time. Tsunade, there's a white town 800 miles to the southeast of you, go and see. Yes, your majesty. Lan Yu thinks it is very simple whether Tsunade can solve the lead disease. To put it bluntly, it is mineral radiation, which is not a terminal illness in the empire. Watching North State stabilize, Lan Yu is thinking about a question at this moment. Qinghai, is there a pure land? Or, where is Huangquan? Think of a certain explosive skull, Wangshen fruit ability. Due to the ability produced by eating the fruits of Wangshen during his lifetime, when the soul walked out of Wangshen and prepared to return to the body, it lost its way in the dense fog of the magic triangle for a year, and the body it found had turned into a skeleton. The soul walked out of the yellow spring. The soul lost its way for a year, returned to the body again, and resurrected after death. Lan Yu recalled the introduction about Brook. The word Huangquan was too conspicuous. Since it is out of Wangshen, then it proves that Wangshen exists. The soul has been to Wangshen without being destroyed, which also proves that there may be more living souls in Wangshen. Thinking of this, Lan Yu glanced at Beijo and stood up. Advertisement Athena and Xiaoyun who have been around, Conan curiously asked, Your Majesty, are you going to travel? I am interested in the yellow springs of this world. Lan Yu is interested in soul dwellings, such as the Pure Land of the Ninja World, and the Hall of Heroes in the Celestial World. Lingza is rich in energy source, the Magic Triangle. Thick fog pervades here all year round. Many pirates will get lost when they enter, and eventually die here. It's not because Moria is here. Now Moria has just been defeated by Kaido, and all of her companions have been killed. 7 years later. Only then will I come here with the rebuilt terrifying three-masted sail that resembles an island. Kiss, ah. On a certain broken ship, an explosive skullhead smiled, but its voice trembled. Brook has stayed on the boat since his resurrection, alone in a bone frame. Since Moria hasn't settled here yet, it's really uninhabited for hundreds of miles. 1,000 meters? No. 10,000 meters? No, hundreds of thousands of meters are possible? Brook looked forward in horror. There were 3 huge black shadows, the top of which was like a head, shining with scarlet red light like eyes. Can be the next moment, the dense fog is thicker. The shadow disappeared. The bone of Brook collapsed on the ground in shock. This place is too magical, too scary. Every few years, he could see those terrifying dark shadows passing by in a flash. If it's really a living monster, if it's as high as I saw, wouldn't it be easy to destroy the island? Invincible? Brook racked his brains and couldn't understand how there could be such a huge black shadow. Does the world government know? Or is it some kind of terrorist weapon of the world government? Bored Brook can only think about these boring things. Because he is so boring. Your Majesty, the black shadow just now should be a mirage, right? At this time, an uncertain and pleasant female voice sounded, which surprised Brook. It doesn't matter what it is, the important thing now is to find Wangchen. There was a calm male voice again, and Brook stood up excitedly. People, finally see people, brush. Two figures appeared in front of him, and before Brook could say anything, Lan Yu grabbed his hand. Soul Survey. Lan Yu chose to read all Brook's memories directly. The head of the guard, swordsman musician, acting captain. Agreement Laboon. Eat the fruit, completely annihilated. Soul out of the body. A section of memory is skipped. Not actually. After retracting his hand 227, Lan Yu did not find any memory of Huang Quan. Then he looked at Brook. He is a legend, because the lonely Red Leadfield is a big fan of Brook. Red Earl ran into Brook when he was a child, was infected by his ideals, and began to worship Brook. Also because of Brook, he chose to go to sea, kiss ah. After recovering, Brook looked at Conan and walked over involuntarily. This beautiful lady, can you? Boom. The words have not fallen yet. Brook was suppressed by Ryotsu and couldn't move his whole body. Lan Yu said flatly, can I ask you to die again? What's the meaning? Brook couldn't understand in horror. Back in time. The power of Lan Yu's time enveloped Brook, and he went backwards quickly. Looking back, Brook's own time, 10 years, 20 years. 30 years, it was still an explosive skull, and the body did not change much. After all, so far, Brook has been dead for more than 30 years. Next moment, Brook's skeleton body began to appear flesh and blood. The soul came out of the body again. The physical state returned to the moment when he just died. Buzz. Brook's soul disappeared. Time accelerates. Lan Yu stopped retracing time and accelerated the passage of time. Brook's soul reappeared. Conan's eyes lit up. I went to Wangchen just after my soul disappeared, right? Are you out of Wangchen now? That's it. Catching the breath of the yellow spring that was beginning to dissipate, Lan Yu returned the time to before. The explosion skull reappears. When Brook's consciousness recovered, he saw Lan Yu open a space and walked in with Conan. The space is closed. Brook was sluggish. Kiss ah, staying here alone for a long time, I always have hallucinations. No one has been here before. Peas, does anyone know what the three huge black shadows glowing in the magic triangle are? Looks taller than the Elephant Master. Perhaps this is the real reason why Moria was obliterated. Chapter 43. The Sinner Rogers Undead Tavern, White Zetsu clones to find the door. Advertisement, count the time, it's about to be born, and our king is about to be born. There should also be a king in the distant sea. The kings will finally meet again. Sounds sounded one after another, like bursts of thunder bursting, full of excitement. Joy boy, if I were born in the same age as you, it would be nice to have left such an amazing treasure. What a big joke. Everyone, the ultimate island that no one has set foot on for 800 years, let's call it this way from now on. Raftel. There was also a big laugh, full of Haki's heroism and spirit. Wano-kuni, no, this world is waiting for someone. When this character appears through 800 years, this country must become able to welcome or help him. In the world more than 20 years later, I am afraid there will be a huge war that will divide the sea. In other words, the protagonists of that great war in 20 years will come to New World one after another. Another voice sounded. Only deep regrets. The above three passages are enough to cause a sensation in the world when they reach Shanghai, and arouse the speculation and surprise of countless people. The first segment is the extremely horrible supergiant sea kings, which are more than 5 kilometers in succession. The second episode is the One Piece who conquered the Grand Line, Gold D. Roger. The third paragraph is Wano-kuni Jiuli Da Ming, Kazuki Oden. 4 old stars. It's really scary, which king are you talking about? Hoo-ha-ha-ha-ha, boys, take the Valley of the Gods, we will be the king of the world in the future. The hairstyle is wild and unruly, like a hockey man with a swarm of snakes, bloodthirsty and speaks. Lan Yu. Is this really Wangchen? It's completely different from what you imagined. From Conan's perspective, I saw small islands in Wangchen that were like small villages. There were more or less people on each island, but no more than 100 people. Stars were scattered all over the yellowing river. Wangchen? It's more like a long river, can't see the end. Lan Yu and Conan didn't do anything, they just watched and saw a stranger scene. What happened just now, a day later, was performed again. As if in reincarnation. But the story on each island is incomplete, such as where Kazuki Oden is, and there are only a few soldiers around. Where Roger was, there were only a few little pirates. But they all seem to have forgotten something and reinterpreted. Your Majesty, I thought about it. Thinking of what? Conan's eyes were full of weirdness. I read a novel on the internet last year, and it tells the story of the forgotten village. The people there only have memories of the day, and everything will come back the next day. Lan Yu squinted slightly and looked at Conan without speaking. Conan suddenly blushed. Sister Kaguya recommended me to read it. It was her novel. I don't usually read novels. Kaguya's novel. Lan Yu looked at Wangshen realm again. Really weird things happen every year. Qinghai has so many weird things, and even Wangshen is a maverick. Time corridor. The soul in Wangshen does not have a memory, but it will reproduce some memories of the people who came here. Is that right? Just using the right, Lan Yu can only understand so temporarily. For example, the reason why there are so few people around Roger is because the cadres of the Roger pirate group are still alive and have not come to Wangshen. But, what Kazuki Oden said just now to his subordinates in a letter to Kazuki, right? This is also the fundamental reason why Kazuki used the fruit of time to send an idiot 20 years later, all because of Oden's prediction. Rather than Kazuki's prophecy. This shows that Roger, Oden and others have long known that certain real kings will be born in the future and bring great changes to the world. Lan Yu. What kind of king are you going to be? So, why would you be here when you don't have Kazuki? Lan Yu searched the islands, and even saw a 100-year-old Joey boy who was blank 800 years ago. He is on a small island, leaving an apology for his inability to fulfill his agreement with the Fishmen Island. Interesting, it was as if countless small fragments of the parallel world were placed in front of Lan Yu, but it was incomplete. But it's very abnormal, although here is full of the mighty power of time and space, and the extremely rich soul. Enough for him to feel and absorb it for a long time. But it is not normal. Go and take a look on that island. Lan Yu pointed randomly in a direction, which was where Roger was. Where he is. It is also a small island. Raftel, haha, I will definitely find it, cough cough. A strong man with a big beard and a pirate hat suddenly coughed up blood. Captain, are you okay? Several unknown pirates looked worried, and their captain suffered a terminal illness before being encircled by the Golden Lion. Kazuki Oden was poached from the Whitebeard pirate group, and he did not hesitate to kneel down and ask. The former fought Golden Lion, and the latter fought Whitebeard for 3 days and 3 nights, and his body was getting worse and worse. Hey, who is Kazuki Oden? Thinking of this, Roger was at a loss for a moment. Who was the one he poached from Whitebeard? Forget it, it shouldn't matter, let's head towards the final island, ha ha ha. With that said, as if it had been a long time, the little broken ship swam from the current little broken island to another little broken island. Roger suddenly laughed boldly. Ha 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 ha, the final island is here, you stay, Oden and I will go up and see. With that said, Roger was confused again. Hey, who is Oden? This picture cannot bear to look. Advertisement. Conan couldn't help holding his forehead. Although I don't know why Huang Quan keeps showing the past, it's too perfunctory, right? Everything is tattered. There are 2 or 3 big cats and kittens, and even the memory of the characters is incomplete. What's the use? Who? At this moment, Roger gave a loud shout and looked at the sky solemnly. Whether it is the aura of living creatures perceived by seeing, hearing and color, or the sound of all things with special ability to listen, they all remind him of the horror of those who come. And it seems that he was discovered deliberately. If it weren't for this, he wouldn't be able to perceive it at all. That's even more terrifying. God avoid. Roger drew his sword and slashed. He uses a knife to slap Hoki's flying slash to attack the target at a high speed. The attack will avoid the opponent's weapon and hit the body directly, one of the stunts. The Hoki that this entanglement is mainly conquers is amazing. Is there no armed color? Looking at the flying slash, Lan Yu didn't perceive the armed color from it. Right. If conquerors is the spirit and will, and seeing and hearing are the 5 senses in the mind, then the armed color should be pure physical energy. Roger is the soul body. Boom, under Roger's astonishment, his avoidance was directly grabbed by the comber with his bare hands and crushed strongly. Brush. Opportunity for no response. One hand grabbed his head directly and smashed him to the ground. Boom. In Conan's astonishment, Roger's entire body shattered into pieces. Your Majesty, this is Conan can see that Lan Yu's random blow just now is not strong. I see, is this Huang Quan's welcome ceremony? It's really boring. After Lan Yu collapsed Roger, he discovered the truth and scanned all directions plainly. The boring trick, that's it. Boom. The grand and immense Ryotsu swept in all directions, surging extremely violently under the river of Yellow Springs. Pieces of small islands collapsed. The last, soul body, collapsed on the spot. Click. The final disillusionment. It was the river of Yellow Springs with no end in sight, cracking in pieces. As if the whole world shattered like glass, the surrounding scenes changed rapidly. Everything before is gone. What appeared again was an incomparably magnificent land, on which a large area was full of withering silence. Just now, is it illusion? In such a scene, Conan was stunned. Lan Yu's forehead. That's right, but it's more of the power of space, which can be regarded as a barrier for those who illegally enter the Yellow Spring. With that said, Lan Yu observes this land. 99% of the place is dead, all kinds of soul bodies with dull eyes, walking back and forth numbly like lonely souls and wild ghosts. It's better to die than to live. No, some souls seem to be unable to hold them, and their bodies collapse suddenly. And above, it is a small island suspended in the air. Lan Yu perceives it, and less than 1,000 people are consciously alive. Your Majesty, this combination is a bit similar to the Pure Land of Ninja World? When Conan saw this, he remembered the same cruel truth of Pure Land. No matter, it is the Pure Land or Wangshen, it should be called Hell in other worlds. You can't expect anything beautiful here. With Lan Yu's words, Conan nodded. If the world after death is beautiful, what is the point of struggling before death? Brush. When Lan Yu and Conan landed on the Hanging Sky Island, the first thing they saw was a small tavern. A few words were written on the sign, Sinner Roger's Undead Tavern. At the same time, Saboti Land, Shaki's ripping off bar. Ushered in a big trouble that Shaki and Rayleigh didn't want to see. Good job. Do you know me? The pale figure sat down casually, raised his hand, and dozens of lasers shot out. Puff chick chick. All the pirates in the tavern died. Here we go again. Do people in your empire kill pirates as they please? Seeing this scene, Rayleigh remembered lowly Hyuga Hinata, the strongest in the world, and killed all the pirates as soon as he came in. Too domineering. Cut off the future of those pirates directly. Mr. White Zetsu, Minister of Intelligence of the Holy Empire, right? Shaki looked calm on the outside, and panicked inside for the first time in decades. No, you have misunderstood. The pale figure immediately denied it, and said with a chuckle, an old boatman, a small bar owner, is not worth coming over. Ontology. So this is the clone? Rayleigh and Shaw breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at the white Zetsu avatar, Rayleigh was inexplicably envious, and muttered, if the old man has this ability, would he still worry about drinking? There are thousands of avatars, all of them are sold for wine, one time is not enough, and another time. White Zetsu's clone despised. It's small, the structure is small, and it's not a dream to do it in thousands of people to work. They are all idiots. You guys chat. I am leaving. Chapter 43. Rayleigh, finally fell, and the three armies of the Empire came to Wangchen. Advertisement, what are you doing here? After a few words, Rayleigh looked at the white Zetsu avatar with extreme caution. North Blue is the territory of the Empire. Let people all over the world list it as a forbidden place, and you can imagine the power of the Empire. Not to mention that white Zetsu itself has a position, even if it is a small soldier of the Empire. Rayleigh does not want to provoke. I didn't come to you. The white Zetsu clone ignored Rayleigh and looked at Shaki, who was wiping the glass. In a word, you and all your intelligence systems, leave it to me to manage. In other words, doesn't it mean surrendering to the Empire? Rayleigh couldn't help making a fist. He had never met this kind of domineering in his life, and he was very uncomfortable. Shaki said calmly, okay, but I have a request. Rayleigh couldn't help smiling wryly. Although Shaki's choice was the most sensible, he couldn't accept it. But there is no way to refute it. Say, but not too much. White Zetsu avatar took a sip of wine. Not surprised by Shaki's choice, it is understood that Shaki, Peony, was a pirate in the Rocks era and was hunted down by Vice Admiral Garp when he was young. Look young. Already very old. I will not be as ignorant as the little pirate, but will just yell and yell out of my head. I want to stay in Saboti, Shaki said seriously, and then pointed to Rayleigh who was drunk. He, also wants to join the Empire. What? Rayleigh regretted it. How did it burn him? Anything else? White Zetsu took a look at Rayleigh, even if it was the deputy captain of One Piece before? Now he is a bad old man. Wrong. White Zetsu thought of something and looked at Rayleigh. You Grandmaster Conqueror's Haki, right? As long as you know, Rayleigh was not to be outdone. That's good. I have to say that Conqueror's Haki is a good ability, especially for seeing and hearing. It is said that top-level knowledge can foresee the future, and White Zetsu doppelganger lazily 233 said. So, you go to Company Shiki and teach Conqueror's Haki together. Within 10 days, you will come to North State to report. That's it, I'm leaving. Ka. The words fall. The white Zetsu clone turned into smoke and disappeared. He just left. Rayleigh was in a daze for a moment, then looked at Shaki and said solemnly, let's escape. The Empire is too domineering. Rayleigh can't imagine what life it would be like to join the Empire. It must be more restrictive than Marine of Marineford, very unfree. This Rayleigh contradicts the idea of freedom. Although he is gone, he must have left us with a positioning ability that we can't detect. Where can you escape? Are you so anxious to see Roger? Shaki lit a cigarette on his own, and said flatly, if you don't want to run away like a wild dog, just learn to obey. Boom. Conquerors broke out. The tables, chairs and wine bottles in the pub burst one after another, which is amazing. Rayleigh yelled. I, Silver Rayleigh, grew up so old, and I have never suffered this kind of grievance. The Empire is even more jerk than Rogers B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* Really? A resounding man. Reproduce the hockey style of the great pirate. Until. Shaki faintly said, all the wine bottles are broken, 10 billion berry, no account is allowed. Hashel. Your momentum has been disrupted by you. But Rayleigh also understood Shaki's decision. Rayleigh sighed and comforted himself. To be honest, I am still very interested in the Empire. Maybe the salary there is very high. Tenten has drinks, right? It's good to think so. It's time to change a way of life, Shaki smiled. It's rare that Rayleigh thinks about it, they are not afraid of death. But such a bright era, AHFH, if you don't see it with your own eyes, it would be a shame. Roger, I wish you a drink in Wangchen. I will look at this new era for you and see how brilliant the Age of Empires is. Rayleigh poured a glass of wine in the direction of East Blue. This wine. Say goodbye to the past, looking forward to the future. Wangchen. The Island of the Dead. Sinner Roger's Undead Tavern. Inside the small broken tavern, it was full of people, including the former Marine and pirates, in the same room. Bah, what kind of wine is this? It's so terrible. Kong Kong just drank a sip of wine and suddenly vomited out, almost died again. Rox disdainfully said, "You new old guy, it's disgusting when you die. It's good to have alcohol." "I think Roger's wine is good, at least it tastes better." The unruly words came from Kazuki Oden. Roger couldn't help laughing. "You guy, it's actually used to describe, have you ever drank it, ha ha ha." Many people laughed too. Kazuki Oden drank a sip, smiled and shouted, "I would like to turn it into a joke, for people to drink, nothing else. Nothing else to boil oil in hot soup, it's more flavorful to boil it." Boom. A beam of light flew. It penetrated directly through Kazuki Oden's forehead. It was like the scene where Oden yelled before his death and was shot by Kaido. Suddenly the audience fell silent. Dead, dead? A large pirate stepped forward to check and found that Oden was silent anymore. Advertisement click. Oden's soul glowed gray, like glass full of cracks, and it broke immediately. Little light dissipated. This was something that had never happened before in Wangshen Undead Island, and everyone looked at the entrance of the tavern. The people present didn't even perceive the attack in advance. How terrifying. "It's so noisy." Lan Yu put down his hand. "I don't comment on the character of Kazuki Oden, Lan Yu, but he has died once and is still noisy and sick." Conan glanced at Kong Kong and said calmly, "It seems that the people who died in Qinghai Realm have reached a certain level of spiritual will to come here. The rest of the souls can only wait for death in a muddle-headed manner." Cruel contrast. The top powerhouse came to Wangshen and had a good little life. "Can you still drink and chat? It's you?" Seeing Conan, Kong Kong's pupils shrunk, and then he sneered. "I didn't expect you to die too. It seems that the Holy Empire has been destroyed, right?" "Holy Empire?" Roger and others were taken aback. "Isn't this the country where Kong Kong just came to nag and said that he was killed by a little girl?" This made everyone laugh for days, but now there's a big problem. How did the man with extraordinary handsome face and terrible majesty completely kill Kazuki Oden? Really think that after death, you can dispel your grievances and coexist peacefully with one drink? Don't be joking. For some top pirates present, they can't wait to hack to death on the spot Kong Kong and some of the top powerhouses belonging to celestial dragons. But they can't do it. You can't kill it all on the island of the undead. The scene just now tells that Kazuki Oden is completely dead and there is no chance to recover the next day. Boom. Another light beam that made people unable to reflect penetrated Kong Kong's forehead. What is it? The soul is broken, suddenly dissipated. Sad Jian Ant. When Lan Yu's words sounded, all the people reacted and stood together on guard. "You are not soul bodies." Roger spoke in a deep voice, and these words immediately caught almost everyone's greedy eyes. "Not a soul body? How did you come to Wangshen? If you catch the opponent, can you ask the reason? Can they leave Wangshen and return to the sea?" "Yes, catch them. Hoo ha 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 ha, what an exciting discovery, I was so excited to cry." Rox laughed wildly, which resonated with everyone. Wangshen is hell. It was dark and full of silence. Only the island of the dead has some peculiar plants, which make Wangshen more green. The countless souls below are waiting for death, and the souls of the strong on the island of the dead are also waiting for death. Because of this, there is no soul 200 or 300 years ago, which means that they will not live on the island for 300 years. Few people are willing. I'm a little disappointed. Lan Yu, who was still a little interested, suddenly lost all interest when he saw the arrogance of souls. Soul cage. Lan Yu Ryotsu turned into a cage and sealed the soul of every strong man on the island of the dead. Their only value. It is to become a training ground and nourishment for the three armies of the Empire. A space portal opened. Huh, Ball, why is there a space gate here? It's almost sticking to me, stay away from me, idiot. Marshal Hashirama, the space gate is the emblem of the Empire, which should have been opened by your majesty. Minato is right. Your majesty is leading us. In a universe where ninja is located, on a certain life planet, 2 Otsutsuki have just been killed, and the Empire's land, sea and air forces that have swept this planet looked at the huge space gate. Your majesty? I haven't seen you for several years, I really miss it. Kagaya blinked and rushed into the space door instantly. One comes in. Kagaya felt extremely gloomy, but the figure in front of him was as dazzling as the sun, making people look stunned. His Majesty, Kagaya ran over immediately, tilting his head back full of expectation. Do you want to be a concubine? No, Lan Yu said calmly. Ah, my concubine is so sad, Kagaya said as he threw himself into Conan's arms, tears falling. Conan chuckled. Sister Kagaya, your Majesty praised you as the Empire's #1 wise man yesterday. Really? Kaguya's eyes were full of surprises, and then he was very humble and said, no, my concubine is a little smarter than others. Billion points? Lan Yu smiled. As soon as you speak, the whole paragraph collapses. Swipe it. Zu Madara, Minato, Izuna, Saku Shigeru, Jiraiya, Nagato, Guizhou, Yahiko, Nawaki, Sasori, Terumi Mei, Liu Biyu, Sol and others have arrived. The 3 armies of the Empire, to see His Majesty the Emperor of the Holy Empire. Everyone saluted and shouted. Lan Yu said with his jaw. Thank you. Leave some clones to sort out the life planets you have taken. Let the main body rest here for a while. Yes, your Majesty. At this time, everyone looked around, and they were overjoyed. They were so rich. It's a pity. Except for the ninja world, there is no pure land or the like in the life planets currently found. The soul dissipates directly after death, and continues to overflow the world, resulting in the thinning of the soul. This world is very good, nothing is more comfortable than sitting and upgrading. Conan curiously asked, Your Majesty, do you want to stay in seclusion for a while? She remembered that Her Majesty had just left the customs. Well, after all, the Empire has just started. Lan Yu's pursuit of strength never stops. Only in this way can he live better and protect his empire. If the order is passed on, the North State will be stabilized, and those who transgress will be killed without pardon. Yes, Your Majesty. Chapter 44. 7 years have passed, Robin and Hinata have finally grown up. Advertisement time flies. After Lan Yu and the 3 imperial armies settled in Wangchen, they began to practice comfortably. Soon a year passed. The North State has completely stabilized. All hidden dangers, large and small, have been eliminated, and a full-scale census has begun, and a detailed survey for everyone has begun. Qualified ID cards are distributed and the information is entered into the imperial system. Bye-bye unqualified. The remaining forces in the rest of the sea area completely abandoned North Blue. Another 2 years have passed. The lifting of Beijo's ban will not prevent outsiders from coming, nor will it prevent the people of the empire from going to sea. After all, business and tourism are required, provided that anyone from another country who doesn't abide by the laws of the empire, any citizen of the empire who dares to go out to sea as a pirate or a wicked party, for whatever reason. Capital sin is inevitable. People of the empire are not allowed to be thieves. Also this year, in the Naval Headquarters Marshal's office, Sengoku said solemnly, 3 years, 3 full years, and finally waited until the empire lifted the ban. I will also erase all your information, except Aokiji and others, and the rest who know about you will be managed uniformly. This is also our opportunity, and the above are also doing this kind of thing. Gion nodded seriously. He handed over a document. This is your new identity. The heir of the Lost Sword Hall has been working hard and breaking through to become a sword hero. After all, your strength is difficult to hide. Remember, you are going to travel, because North State is very peaceful, so you choose to settle and don't join the empire. We suspect that they have extremely special surveying capabilities that can find out the true identities of all the citizens of the empire. This possible reconnaissance ability dissuaded countless careerists' plans to send people to the empire. Can only disguise non-power people like merchants, civilian swordsmen, etc. Sister, I know. Gion took a deep breath and spoke. She has been preparing for 3 years. Kizaru said with a weird expression. Marshal, if you don't join the empire, you won't be able to get detailed information. Sending Gyuan to sell down is meaningless, right? Sengoku looked at Kizaru's expression, and always felt something was wrong, but he couldn't tell. He could only say, the soldiers and high levels of the empire are also humans. Since people always have daily lives, the empire cannot be overbearing to allow other people to interact with their own people. Friends, even if you can't do anything, Gion will be able to see the movement of the imperial forces for the first time? Is that right? Kizaru felt that Sengoku was hiding something, but he didn't care. I didn't even bother to pass back the Gion incident, it was just a small matter. Follow Gion into North Blue. There are people from all over the world sent to North Blue to explore, and it is more curious about the North State and the Empire in other sea areas. After the ban was lifted, many businessmen, travelers, musicians, etc., all rushed to North Blue. The children of the new generation of Beijo surrounded the Empire and blessed them. Many people hope to serve the Empire. Bibaichung Prefecture, on a grass, sitting 4 young children. Luo, you want to join the Saint soldiers? But there are very demanding ones. I went to a group before, and I heard that they were all brushed down. An orange-haired boy was full of longing for the Saint Army. Another blonde boy took out a few cards and talked about it for a long time before he said with a headache. I have failed again. Every time it involves the Empire, I can't divination. The yellow-haired child smiled. Of course, it is said that Your Majesty's power has been covering the Empire's territory, and other forces cannot interfere. Mention Your Majesty. The 4 children looked reverent. Even if they haven't met the person, they can't stop the worship from the heart. It is a great existence that truly brings peace to North Blue. 10-year-old Luo, 17-year-old Drake, 15-year-old Hawkins, 5-year-old Sanji. Drake, whose father is the fallen Marine Rear Admiral, became a pirate, but at the moment of birth in North State, he was also the first group of people who chose to dedicate everything to become citizens of the Empire. This move changed Drake's life. After all, Drake's father was the one who found Op fruit worth 5 billion and died in that transaction. Drake also secretly joined the Naval Headquarters Secret Special Unit, and the surface has become a degenerate Marine Rear Admiral, but in fact it is still Marine, joining Beast's pirates as an undercover agent. Now, only the citizens of the Empire, except for the adults of Kushina, the 3 armies of the Empire have not seen others. Little Sanji pointed his fingers. The rest is the Senate Corps, the Academy of Sciences, and the Senate composed of various civil servants. The requirements are very high. 11 Hawkins and Drake also nodded. Being a civilian and joining the imperial government are 2 different concepts. The former is abiding by discipline and law, and being happy is enough. The latter is the effective empire. Even if it is difficult, I will join the imperial government, and the imperial will serve. Luo said firmly, it was the empire that saved the White Town and saved his parents. Just being a civilian, he thought he could not repay him. Then, let's go together. Hawkins and Drake looked at each other, and they were unwilling to be ordinary. Little Sanji shook his head slightly. I won't go. Drake smiled. Of course you can't go, you can only enter if you are at least 6 years old. That's not what I mean. My dream is to be a chef, to become your majesty's royal chef. With that said, little Sanji stood up. This is much harder than your dreams. It will take me at least decades to master the recipes of various oceans and create the best chefs in innovation. So I want to go out to find the legendary Sia, Blue. Be a chef. Everyone has a dream. The three don't care about it. Luo reminded. You are too young. If you want to go to sea, at least you have to grow up. The sea is very dangerous. No, my father won't let me be a chef. It won't work to stay at home all the time. Thinking of the father at home who looked down on the chef, little Sanji was very upset. What does father know? If you become an imperial chef, that is a very high status. You will also be called an adult when you see it. Sanji strives for the goal. Hawkins raised his brow slightly and said calmly. So, you came to us to help you go out to sea secretly? Advertisement. Little Sanji nodded repeatedly. After 3 years in Beijo, he accidentally met 3 people and soon became friends. Except for my sister, only the 3 of them can help myself. Drake said immediately. This is not possible. You have to apply for a permit to go to sea. You may not be able to apply for it because of your age. If you have an accident, we will be accomplices. But, hearing this, Sanji looked forward to it. Drake smiled. As long as you don't be a pirate or something, there is any reason to stop a man from going out to sea. Luo also nodded. We helped with this. Great, I'm going to apply now, and when I return from school, I will cook you a big meal. After Sanji finished speaking, he ran to apply. Hawkins shook his head and said, You guys, it's too messy. Sanji will blame himself for a lifetime if something happened at sea. Luo Qing smiled and said, Don't worry, the Empire stipulates that at least 8 years old can go to sea with business, and he will come back. Drake was startled, speechless. It's too bad little Sanji will cry to death when he comes back. So let's run quickly, don't let him find it, ha 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 ha. 4 years later, the Empire descended for 7 years. See Circle Calendar 1510, inside the Imperial Academy. Orochimaru looked at White Zetsu and said, Why are you here? I'll give you devil fruit, White Zetsu said, opening a big box. There are no less than 50 devil fruits in it, all of which have been searched over the years. I'm not interested in these anymore. After taking a glance, Orochimaru was in low spirits. Go to the 3 armies and the holy soldiers to find some people who don't have holy scripts and give them to them. 0. Look for flowers. White Zetsu was stunned. I eat it myself? Devil fruit is too defective. Fear of seawater, fear of sea stone, etc. Unless it is the fruit of the rules of space and time, Obito and others are not interested. Everyone has a lot of skills, so why add a weakness to yourself? Just remove it. Orochimaru picked up a devil fruit casually. There are 2 kinds of energy in devil fruit. One is for empowerment, the other is for the special ingredients in the ocean of this world. Just remove the latter. With a flick of Orochimaru, a burst of energy was ejected from the devil fruit, and it was done. White Zetsu looked at him with a daze. It's so simple. Then why can't the scientists in Shanghai Circle do it? Because they don't have their own energy to call. It is difficult to detect the cryptic special energy. Even me, it took several years to find. Orochimaru speaks at will. The combination of science and metaphysics is the last word. White Zetsu nodded. The fruit here, op fruit is good, but Tsunade is not interested, but there is a fruit that you are definitely interested in. What fruit? Weapon fruit. Orochimaru came with interest. This fruit is really good. The big explosion of the brain hole of the Academy of Sciences can make the owner of the weapon fruit directly super god. But Orochimaru's most hopeful fruit is the fruit of wisdom, such as the fruit of increasing brain power. I don't know if there is any. Come on you. After receiving the box, Orochimaru said again. Op fruit, is it the fruit that can bestow immortality? Why isn't Tsunade interested? Tsunade is not only the Imperial Air Force Admiral, but also the Dean of the Imperial Medical School. It will definitely play op fruit perfectly. It is not that those who are able to work harder, but that everyone has their own hobbies in a long life. Living for a long time without hobbies will make you very tired. White Zetsu said helplessly. She heard that devil fruit is too unpalatable, she would rather die than eat it. It's a reason for willfulness. Orochimaru thought so, and smiled calmly. Then I really can't help it, adjusting the fruit taste is not my domain. Choose a Grandmaster Medical and eat it, don't waste it. Luo. My father is a doctor, and my grandfather is a doctor. I read a lot of medical books. Please choose me. At the same time. Hydra Island. Boom. A terrifying aura swept the island, mixed with conquerors and Ryotsu, avoiding all the women, and rushed to the sea. Click. Many marine fish that jumped out of the sea suffered terrible shocks and burst to death. This momentum. Many women on the coast watched this scene in astonishment, and just felt a terrifying beast pass by. Immediately, the women became excited. It's Master Snake G who has left the customs. This momentum. Except for Lord Snake G who became the new emperor of 9 Snake Island 4 years ago at the age of 15 years old, there is no one else. Now, Snake G is 19 years old. I met Hinata at the age of 12, the past 7 years. The one who called Hinata's sister is so cute, Loli, has grown up. Spare tire. My concubine is going to North Blue. No way, Snake G, North Blue is at the other end of the world, too far, there will be danger on the road. Come on then, my concubine is fearless, at the same time. Lan Yu walked out of Wangchen and came to the Beijo conference hall. When Kushina and others arrived, Lan Yu saw a surprise. That is. Hinata and Robin. Grown up. Grow up two more lowly, this is the 20th? Lan Yu was deeply moved from Kushina Makoto to Hinata Robin. It was not easy to be raised by him. Fortunately, none of them are crooked, righteous. Chapter 45. Empress Hancock. What is Celestial Dragons, die. Advertisement watching lowly grow up. Lan Yu also smiled with satisfaction. Such as Hinata. Originally grew up to a maximum of about 1.6 meters, not that he was too short, but he raised lowly. If nothing has changed, then what is the point of raising him? Hinata, now 20 years old. The height of 1.7 meters, with long hair and blue tensigen, is amazing. Certainly, this height is average in Qinghai, but a good proportion is enough. Hinata's ratio is very good. When Lan Yu looked at Robin, Kushina chuckled, Your Majesty, are you surprised? Are you surprised? What a surprise. This is the idea of Obito et al. Who would have thought that Robin was so cute when he was a child, but 7 years later, the gift rose so high. Robin is 18 years old. She is 1.8 meters tall, 2 years younger than Hinata, but already Oni-san full and very aura. Your Majesty, I shouldn't grow anymore. Oni-san Robin blushed, suddenly taller than Hinata so much, she is also very uncomfortable. No problem, Lan Yu doesn't care about these. Height has never been Lan Yu's focus, especially when Lan Yu received the Golden Lion Shiki's holy text. Size and height were of no significance to him. He can be as high as he wants. Lan Yu, I can grow bigger and smaller, understand? 233 Robin, I am 1.88 meters. Snake G, I am 1.91 meters. Shirahoshi, I grew up 12 meters. Linlin. They are 3 stories high. Lan Yu, the last one. Looking at Robin, Hinata said lightly, No matter how tall she is my little girl. Of course, sister. Robin nodded with a smile. She has been playing with Hinata since she was a child, and Hinata is her older sister, who took her all the way to growth. Mentioned the little sister. Lan Yu calmly said, Your sister Hanabi has become the squadron leader? Speaking of Hanabi, Hyuga Hinata's eyelids twitched, but his eyes were full of care. Yes, Your Majesty, although she is a bit naughty, she is not weak. Hyuga Hanabi is 15 years old, the new generation of Kid King. Strong self-esteem, never admit defeat, also influenced by my sister Hinata, extremely firm and brave. But slightly naughty. Lan Yu didn't say much. Hanabi has also been mentored by Kagaya, and his strength is not bad. Secretary General Athena said, Your Majesty, 7 years have passed. 2 things are worth noting. First, 3 years ago, Murloc Tiger climbed onto the new Marijoy, liberating slaves and making a sensation in the world. He founded the Pirates of the Sun and hired the sea, but was killed by Marine Town last month. New Marijoy. Lan Yu is not surprised that this incident still happened. Tiger may have escaped from the sea when Marijoy collapsed and stabilized a few years ago to free the slaves. Celestial dragons, death will not change, but there is a problem. Marijoy, who has collapsed once, can still be sneaked by Tiger, so vigilant. Athena continued. The second thing is that the chaos in New World begins to stabilize. The 3 major overlords Whitebeard, Kaido, and Charlotte Linlin. There are big pirates such as Silver Axe Ochaku, all vying for the supremacy. So far, no other pirate can intervene. No, not really. The red-haired Shanks are the 4 emperors formed 6 years ago, 2 years after the Top War. That is the year before Ace went to sea. There are still 6 years left. A lot of things can be changed in 6 years. It's also enough for red hair to become explosively stronger. Athena said, the above big pirates once belonged to Rock's pirate. Ochaku. Lan Yu has nothing to say about the sudden appearance of such a name in Qinghai. Because the big pirate in the Ming dynasty was called Wang Ji. In the real world, it cannot be said that the original author draws material from the pirate Wang Ji of the Ming dynasty, but it should be said that the Qinghai world was accidentally affected and evolved unexpectedly. But Lan Yu is not very interested in the changes in the past few years. As long as North State is stable, continue to stabilize the North State, I will go to other sea areas. Lan Yu stood up and spoke, and couldn't be an otaku anymore. Yes, Your Majesty. Everyone was not surprised by Lan Yu's trip. There are still many new things in other sea areas. At the same time, Sabodi Archipelago. A boat pulled by 2 giant snakes slowly approached the shore, attracting the attention of countless people. Pirate ship? You are blind, there is no pirate flag on it. Wow, so many women. When a group of women stood on the boat to delay, countless men stared, one by one. Good view. It turned out to be a ship from 9 Snake Island? In the corner, Rayleigh, who was drinking a little wine, was slightly surprised. Why is there no pirate flag on it? The new generation of, who is the Empress? It's too messy to bring so many women here. Sabodi is a mixed bag. Rayleigh doesn't need to think about it. The women of Hydra Island will cause countless people to ship Guy. Forget it, it's none of my business. Rayleigh came to Sabodi because the Empire was on holiday, so he went home to take a look. These 7 years, has been teaching Conqueror's Hockey, a holy soldier in North State. Rayleigh unexpectedly discovered that joining the Empire was not as free as he thought, but rather easy. I also made a lot of friends there. I allocated a half-year holiday and squeezed a lot of money, enough for me to spend. Advertisement. Rayleigh touched the nailing ring happily. The Empire's benefits are super good, and all kinds of novel things are unheard of. If it hadn't been a long time since Shaxian hadn't seen Shaxian, he didn't want to come back. Old man, I also have a state-owned family. Rayleigh sang a little wine and walked towards the pub. Also at this time, exclamation came from the crowd. Hi, it's so beautiful, oh my god, how could there be such a beautiful woman in the world? It's over, I'm going to fall, beauty? As a man, Rayleigh glanced back habitually, even if he was serious. Is her? Looking past the woman who was full of fatal charm, Rayleigh's eyes fell on the small old lady beside her. Former Emperor of Nine Snake Island, Gloriosa, mother-in-law yesterday. Snake G, you can't be willful anymore, it's very dangerous here. We have to leave here as soon as possible, or return to Hydra Island. Beijo is too far away. The short stature listened to her mother-in-law's very serious speech. Sabodi, the back garden of celestial dragons, even if it was hit by the Holy Empire 7 years ago, it is almost restored now. And North Blue. In the other hemisphere, you can only enter the Fishmen Island from the Sabodi ground coating, and then to the New World in the second half of the Grand Line. Then go through the calm belt of New World and arrive at North Blue. The middle road is far away. New World is even more chaotic, and may be raided by a big pirate as soon as it enters. Too dangerous. Do you have any misunderstandings about the strength of your concubine? And beside yesterday's mother-in-law, on a female snake, was sitting a woman with long black hair flying. The whole body exudes an unimaginable charm. Many men on the island just glanced at it, as if they lost their minds. A new generation of emperors on the island of Nine Snake. 19 years old, Boa Hancock, going to sea for the first time after growing up. Slightly dangerous, the concubine is not afraid. Hancock sat on the female snake, raised his legs slightly, and spoke indifferently. Joined the Empire 7 years ago, she didn't want to explain anything. Snake G. Seeing this, yesterday's mother-in-law was impatient. It's not what it used to be, just provoke anyone to return to Nine Snake Island. Don't talk about pirates, just say that Marine already has the ship technology that can cross the calm belt. If Marine is offended, we have no way back. The mother-in-law went crazy yesterday. One step further is to be coded into the New World, when it will be too late. Enough, Gloriosa, the concubine said, don't be afraid of everything. When Hancock spoke domineeringly, there was a strong expectation in his eyes. 7 years, my concubine must go to North Blue. While talking, Hancock directly ordered the guards on both sides to throw the mother-in-law yesterday out. Suddenly, yesterday the mother-in-law gave a stunned glance and said in horror, Snake G, run, it's celestial dragons. Not far away, a magnificent giant ship is slowly approaching. Celestial dragons. Hancock motioned to the guard to stop, and the mother-in-law was also relieved yesterday, thinking she wanted to drive. Hyuga Hinata, killed celestial dragons, right? What? Seeing the eagerness in Hancock's eyes and the words in his mouth, the mother-in-law was surprised yesterday. Really? This is not the time to chase stars, don't mess around. Yesterday the mother-in-law was going crazy. Snake G, you will bring destruction to the country. When Hancock heard the words, he suddenly raised his finger and pointed it at yesterday's mother-in-law. At the same time, he raised his head proudly and raised his delicate chin. Even if this country perishes because of this, the concubine will definitely be forgiven. Because the concubine body is so beautiful, buzz. At this moment, the temperament that Hancock exudes is hard to describe in words. That kind of charm. Even the listening mother-in-law who is a woman has fallen, and it is difficult to extricate herself from it. Click. Under Rayleigh's disagreement, many people in Joe 5.7 were petrified, which made him retreat. Snake. Snake G, you. Shut up to the concubine. Hancock snorted coldly. Full of contempt and arrogance, he looked at the celestial dragon's ship and slowly raised his hand. Although I don't know exactly what celestial dragons are, but if you fight against Hinata and the Holy Empire, you should die. Slave arrow. In the shock of countless people, Hancock raised his hand to condense a pink bow and arrow, and flew a large number of heart-shaped arrows toward the celestial dragon's ship. It contains sharp spiritual power. Wow, it was like pouring rain. Overwhelmingly swept over. No, stop it. The guards on the celestial dragon's ship saw the pink arrows coming, but their attacks had no effect. All defenses are ineffective. Click. Under the astonishment of countless people, the escort on it, together with the entire giant ship, was petrified on the spot. But the rain of arrows never stopped. When the subsequent arrow fell on the petrified ship, the whole ship suddenly cracked like a rock. Temporarily, the audience was silent. Rayleigh was dumbfounded. Except for the Empire, there are still people who dared to kill celestial dragons, or are they still a woman? Chapter 46. Admiral Akainu arrives. Hancock petrifies the power of all things. Advertisement, my god, celestial dragons are dead. This woman is a lunatic, run away. The people on the coast of Sabodi fled frantically, but there were still many men staying in place obsessively. It is beautiful, and the sweet fruit blesses the charm. Let many men lose their souls completely, dirty man. Hancock, who had just destroyed the celestial dragon's ship, raised his hand again and made a heart-shaped gesture. Marrow marrow mellow, hum. A ray of pink peach heart suddenly entered from Hancock's hand. Swept the audience in a flash. In an instant, all the obsessed people suffered the influence of strange forces, all turned into stone statues. Snake. Snake Gu. Yesterday the mother-in-law was really going crazy. The new generation of emperors of Hydra Island killed celestial dragons for the first time after they grew up to go to sea. Yesterday the mother-in-law was full of despair. Snake Island, what to do to resist the angry celestial dragons, will face destruction. Kill the celestial dragons, do you need to be so alarmed? Hancock sat lazily on the female snake again, and his words were full of domineering. The lessons I taught them 7 years ago were not enough, and the concubine gave them a deep impression. 7 years ago. Rescued by Hinata and Robin. Save Hancock from suffering. In her cognition, she has no impression of celestial dragons, and she doesn't even know what celestial dragons are. No need to understand. Since it is against the Empire, it is all good to die. Really capricious. Rayleigh in the corner has nothing to say. Apart from the people of the Empire, he is the 07th time he has seen such a wayward woman like Hokage. Celestial dragons kill as soon as they say kill. Does not consider the consequences at all. You bad old man, you still know to come back? Suddenly a voice sounded, and Rayleigh turned around in a spirit, and laughed. Ah ha ha, it's been a long time, Shaki, you know, there are many rules in the Empire, I'm a little busy, and finally took a holiday. Yes. Shaki dangled a cigarette and said casually. How come as far as I know, you have 3 days off a week, and you were eating, drinking, and having fun after get off work? Ahem. Rayleigh kept coughing, full of embarrassment and full of complaints. Who told Shaki this? Shiki, White Zetsu, or Hinata? Immediately, Rayleigh said solemnly. That woman, do you understand? Killed celestial dragons, which is amazing. Shaki shook his head slightly. It should be the new emperor of Snake Island. It's the first time to go to sea. I have never seen it. Hancock had gone to sea once when he was 12 years old, and the rest had been practicing on Hydra Island. Shaki really didn't understand. It is estimated that even the ghost spiders who have seen Hancock can't be recognized. After all, Hancock at that time was like Hinata's little follower. Apart from being sweet and cute, he had no sense of existence and had changed a lot. Shaki said again, looking at them, there is no pirate flag on the boat, and I don't want to go ashore. I should just pass by and go to New World? You go to Coded and ask by the way, it's me again? Rayleigh subconsciously refused. They're too troublesome. I don't want to cause trouble. Besides, I haven't been coded for 7 years. As an empire, are you afraid to cause trouble? Shaki asked backwards. Rayleigh helpless. Okay, I'll go ask, immediately. Rayleigh walked towards the boat on Hydra Island. Seeing an old man coming, Hancock proudly raised his head and said, Man, get away. Rayleigh. I'm here to code your boat. Hancock simply ignored. Are there no female coders in Sabodi? Stupid man? Rayleigh left dingy. As soon as he came to Shaki, Rayleigh kept complaining. It's too capricious. The women of Snake Island still can't fix this problem. Why do they have such big opinions on men? Rayleigh, are you Rayleigh? Yesterday the mother-in-law said in exclamation. Seeing this, Hancock raised his eyebrows slightly. You know him, good old friend? It does not make sense. Yesterday the mother-in-law explained. He is Rayleigh, I know, the deputy captain of One Piece, Snake G, we need his help. Pirate? No need. Hancock refused decisively. She always remembered Hinata's words that she couldn't be a pirate, so the pirate flag of Hydra Island was thrown by her a few years ago. Coding as soon as possible, go to Beijo. Signals the guard to find a female coder, she wants to rush to North Blue as soon as possible, there is no time to waste here. Northern State. Rayleigh was surprised, isn't that where the Empire is? Why would such a domineering woman go to the Empire? Thought for a while. Rayleigh sent out the Lingza newsletter to contact Hyuga Hinata. Captain Hinata, do you know the new generation of emperors on the island of Hydra? The ability performance is a pink substance, just killed celestial dragons in Sabodi. After a while, Hinata's reply came. Kill celestial dragons? Little girl did a beautiful job. Rayleigh Monk again. Little girl? My own person? At the same moment, Naval Headquarters is going crazy. Since Kizaru went to New World, Shingshong had a mission to South Blue, and Sengoku sent a Kainu. It happens that a Kainu is near Sabodi and can support it in at most half an hour. This woman? People from Snake Island? Sengoku breathed a sigh of relief looking at the photos secretly taken by Sabodi's Marine. Snake Island should have nothing to do with the Empire. Advertisement as long as they are not from the Holy Empire, there is no big problem. But Sengoku had a headache, and another celestial dragons died. If it is not handled properly, Marine's funding will be wiped out again. Just half an hour. The killing of celestial dragons quickly spread to all major forces. Lan Yu, who had already arrived in East Blue and started traveling, naturally knew. On a magnificent merchant ship, there is no sign of the Empire. Lan Yu is purely leisurely and does not want to cause turmoil. Hancock, it seems that Hinata has been greatly influenced. In Lan Yu's eyes, Hancock's life change was purely Hinata's unexpected behavior. Hinata changed Hancock's life. The arrogant empress who has not experienced hardship will not put celestial dragons in his eyes. Immediately, Lan Yu looked at the deck again, where there was a 15-year-old Byakugan Loli, and looked around very seriously. Kagaya is really love house in UK. Even Hanabi's Byakugan is about to evolve. Lan Yu can perceive it. Hyuga Hanabi's Byakugan is only one line away from Tensigan. Although it can't be compared with the open Hinata, it is not weak in other aspects. Makoto chuckled and said, Sister Kagaya is very happy to know that Hinata has a cute sister. Kagaya thinks that Hinata is not easy to hold when he grows up, so he sets his goal on Hanabi. Lan Yu knows Kaguya's mind well, and often thinks of Hinata as a pillow doll, but when Hinata grew up, he found Hanabi. I've held it too. Makoto smiled softly. Others don't know at all. Hinata Hanabi, who was 10 years ago, hugged him more comfortably. Lan Yu. I know very well, said Kagaya Iwu and Wu. Lan Yu is the same. Hinata sisters are very good. Your Majesty, there is a restaurant on the sea in front of me. I looked very lively. Hyuga Hanabi trod over and saluted. Lan Yu Jia show. Let's go and take a look. Yes, Your Majesty. At the same time, Sabodi Archipelago became more and more silent, except for some arrogant new star pirates peeking in every corner. Many people had already run away. Master Snake G, it will take at least 2 hours to finish the coating. A guard stepped forward and spoke. Hancock nodded indifferently. She has just dealt with some marine who is trying to surround her and some brain-dead pirates, and she is now playing with her mobile phone. Of course there is no internet signal in Sabodi. Last year, Hinata downloaded a lot of video, movie, novel, standalone games and the like on his mobile phone, which was sent by Baiyun, which made people personalize. There are also power banks that can be used for 1 year. The power bank is about to run out of power and cannot charge the phone. You have to rush to Beijo as soon as possible. Empress Hancock murmured. What? Could this be the reason why Hancock rushed to the Empire? It turns out you were like this Hancock. Hancock. There are still a lot of movies in it that I haven't watched. Is there any problem? Concubine body can't charge the phone with beauty, right? The haughty Hancock was suddenly a little cute. Well, Gloriosa, even if Admiral comes, your Empress should be able to solve it. Seeing the old acquaintance yesterday's mother-in-law came to ask for help, Rayleigh said helplessly. You know, no woman in the Empire is easy to provoke. Yesterday 237 mother-in-law puzzled. Of course I know, does it have anything to do with Snake G? Didn't she tell you? Rayleigh was even more shocked, and then sighed with emotion. Willful, really wayward, I didn't even say anything, it made you worry in vain. In a word, she and Hinata know each other. Hyuga Hinata? The strongest in the world lowly, no, he should have grown up now, it must be more terrifying. Yesterday the mother-in-law was stuck in place, also at this moment. The surrounding temperature rose linearly, and when Rayleigh looked around, he saw a sky full of lava flying from a distance, hitting the boat on Hydra Island. Such a scene, Admiral Akainu, Snake G, the mother-in-law screamed yesterday. Admiral is here, so don't lower your head and play with the iron bumps on your hands on the boat. You are so noisy to settle down. Hancock glanced dissatisfiedly at the mother-in-law on the coast of Sabodi, then put down the phone and looked towards the sky. The scope is huge, overwhelming, like a doomsday natural disaster. This kind of magma is only equipped with candles. Hancock stood up arrogantly, while Rayleigh was looking sideways, his eyes lifted slightly, and the holy writing exploded. In front of my concubine, everything is petrified. Buzz. Spiritual power exploded, and the sky was washed away in a flash. Click. The magma rain that fell in people's consternation, all petrified in the sky, and even the temperature disappeared. As if for a moment, from magma to the most common stone. Perfume femur. Hancock raised his foot and kicked. With the advancement of spiritual power, the color of the weapon she kicked out suddenly swelled into a sea tide, rushing into the sky. Boom. All the stones exploded and turned into powder. Boom. Conquerors mixed with Ryatsu exploded, shaking all the powder away. At this time, Hancock continued to sit on the female snake lazily. The audience fell silent. What just happened? Another woman who doesn't know the heights of the earth when she gets special abilities. With the cold drink coming, Akainu's half-length lava sprayed and flew over, directly punching Hancock. Great Eruption. Chapter 47. The Proud Snake Girl. Sister Hinata, have you brought a power bank? Advertisement. A huge lava fist. It turned into countless volcanic bombs, and once again rushed to Hancock sitting on the female snake. Not yet close to Hancock, all the magma turned into the most common stone. Boom. Conquerors mixed with Ryatsu erupts. All the stones shattered and shook apart again. This ability. After doing this twice in a row, Akainu landed on the coast of Sabodi, frowning slightly. Petrochemical everything, the momentum is shattered. Hancock's attack was so simple, and the understatement made Akainu a little trance. This scene, it shocked the hearts of everyone present. Master Snake G. Master Snake G. The sisters of Nine Snake Island shouted, their eyes full of worship. The mother-in-law was also shocked yesterday. That's Admiral, when is Snake G so strong? Rayleigh also raised his brow slightly. This new generation of 9 Snake Island emperors, with such a strong charm, should be one of the few fruits that women are most eager to get in the legend, Sweet Fruit's blessing. Others, such as slippery fruit, are also what women want most. Sweet. The fruit is so strong, it can petrify Akainu's attack at a glance? Hearing Rayleigh's question, Shaki denied, it's definitely not. The pink substance used to be the fruit power, but now it's another stronger one. Stronger ability. Holy text? Rayleigh suddenly? He has served for the Empire for 7 years, and he naturally understands that some sacred writings are close to concepts. Like Hinata's Arc of Time, it is simply unreasonable and too regular. Gu Gurren. Akainu attacked again, his arm turned into magma and stretched into a huge doghead, rushing towards Hancock. Hancock said proudly, Dog, your moves really make the concubine feel ridiculous. This woman. Hearing what Hancock said, Akainu suddenly thought of Otsutsuki Kagaya. He also called him a puppy and claimed to be a concubine. Not good. Suddenly feeling a crisis, Akainu withdrew his hand without thinking. Click. In the next instant, the magma flakes turned into stones, and all cracked. If you take it quickly, otherwise the concubine body must have used your right hand. Hancock's words made Akainu's expression slightly condensed. The attack just now is to extend the attack with the right hand, which is equivalent to hitting it with the hand, but at that moment, Akainu feels if he doesn't stop, even his own hands can be petrified. This is very unreasonable, because his attack is mixed with armed colors. Can't even the armed colors defend the opponent's petrochemical ability? Childlike fruits are not good. According to Akainu's understanding, childlike fruits that have not appeared for many years are scary. As long as you touch it with your hand, everything that is touched by the creature will completely disappear from the world and turn into a toy. People who are turned into toys will be erased from other people's memories. But the premise is that they have to be touched, and the armed color is strong enough to be able to defend it. Because Haki is the nemesis of the capable, the top Haki can resist the invasion of any fruit ability. The power of the world pays attention to balance. Are you from the Holy Empire? Thinking back to Ryotsu and Conquerors just now, Akainu said in a deep voice. He has not experienced Ryotsu so far, but the descriptions of Aokiji and others are the same as he just felt. Far stronger than Conqueror's mental oppression or the heaviness of the soul. Can you still fight? Hancock didn't bother to answer, and then Haki proudly said, as Marine Admiral? Get out if you don't fight, or you will die here. Good, very good. The second time Akainu saw such an arrogant woman, the first was Charlotte Linlin. Kagaya? That woman is a little cute, meteor volcano. Akainu burst into arms, swinging his fists toward the sky, and then falling from the sky like a meteor shower of magma fists. The monstrous magma rushed towards Hancock with tyrannical power. After the move, Akainu stepped on the moonwalk across the coast and attacked at close range. He wants to confirm. Danger. When the body approached Hancock, when Hancock was about to raise his hand, Akainu felt a fatal crisis again. Frightened without even thinking about it, boom. The mansion magma fist once again turned into an ordinary stone, and was smashed and opened by Hancock on the spot. The whole ship is spotless. Really? Watching Akainu retreat back to the coast, some Peking pirates who were not afraid of death were dumbfounded. Especially the beautiful woman who was still sitting on the female snake. Another easy destruction of Admiral's attack is too unbelievable. Damn it, Akainu also turned dark, and he felt that he could not start. Long-range attacks will petrify. Close attack, the body will be petrified? How do you fight this? Akainu is naturally not afraid of death, but he has to figure out what his opponent is. Boring. Hancock snorted. Holy writing, petrification. It is an extremely simple and almost conceptual ability. Petrification 1. Within the scope of Ryotsu, all matter, energy, and non-living bodies that petrify looks at. Petrification 2. Disregarding defenses, petrify all living and non-living things that come into contact with the body. Restriction. Can't petrify things far beyond oneself. The concept is as close as the childlike fruit, but Hancock's petrification ignores defenses. Haki is unstoppable, and can be petrified remotely. But petrochemical creatures need to be close. Advertisement. Petrified things are the most common stones, so Hancock Ryotsu shattered as soon as he came out. I don't believe that your abilities have no weaknesses. Akainu calmed down quickly, he had never seen any big storms. Do you only speak? Hancock said contemptuously. Brush. Akainu disappeared in place in a flash. This speed. Hancock's expression condensed, and he caught the opponent directly behind him. She couldn't remotely petrify the attack behind her body because she couldn't see her eyes. Great eruption. Lava fist was instant. This time Akainu couldn't help but sneered, and found a weakness. The previous attack was petrified hundreds of meters away, but this time it didn't. This kind of ability always has to be triggered by something. The behind cannot be petrified. Didn't you see it or did it? Under Akainu's gaze, Hancock had already turned around when the lava was only a few meters away from Hancock. Click. At the same time as the petrification occurred, the Ryotsu eruption was accompanied by a large amount of soil and rock fragments being shaken away. Sure enough, Akainu saw clearly that it started the petrification when the opponent turned around and looked at it. If you change to Kizaru, it will be more convenient. Rayleigh also noticed it, and Yu whispered. The ability is very strong and terrifying, but her own strength and reaction speed are quite different from Akainu. If she fights for a long time, she will lose. But she's still young. Shaki applauded Haki's empress. Rayleigh's forehead. After all, Hancock was only 19 years old. There is a high room for growth. Brush. Hancock's figure flashed. Under Akainu's gaze, he fell lightly on the sea and stood on it. She didn't want her ship to be destroyed. Sure enough, they're from the Holy Empire. This kind of operation of standing on the surface of the sea, Kai Tien gave a cold shout, and appeared above Hancock again, only a few meters away, just a punch. Boom. With a punch, he brushed shoulders with Hancock. You almost got settled. Hancock, who appeared on another sea surface, also saw the gap between her and Admiral. She was not afraid of the front, but the opponent attacked from the back, and it was difficult to turn around and fight back as quickly as possible. Close petrification also has to face up. It is too late to hook back and back. The ability to avoid instantaneously. Recalling the invisible avoidance of those holy soldiers, Akainu was neither arrogant nor impetuous. He didn't believe that the opponent could escape every time. Brush. Akainu disappeared again, choose to attack behind. Brush. Hancock's shadow realm disappeared, boom. The sea surface was blasted by magma, and Akainu stepped on the moonwalk to perceive and explore in midair. This time Hancock did not come out. I really thought I was hiding, but I can't help you? Akainu looked at the Hydra ship, which was still accelerating its coating, and punched it directly there. When Rayleigh was about to help, the magma fist that rushed past was fragmented. Hancock's figure came to the ship, and Ryotsu swept through and shattered the stone. Chance. The moment Hancock appeared, Akainu also came behind Hancock and slammed a punch. Click. But to Akainu's surprise, Hancock didn't turn around, and the magma that had just been exploded was petrified and shattered. You look down on your concubine too much. The sound came from all directions, making Akainu's heart sink. When Akainu looked around, I saw a Hancock in every direction on the sea. Keep your eyes on everything. Rayleigh praised. Wonderful, using the clone to directly solve the ability defect. No matter where Akainu attacks from, there will be a glance, directly petrified. Petrochemical magma is just ordinary stone. Except for the burst of impact, the attack intensity is greatly reduced. Ordinary stone and Akainu's magma are two concepts. After all, Hancock's conquerors and Ryotsu do not break Akainu's magma. You look down on me too. Akainu snorted coldly, ignored Hancock, and continued to attack the woman on the nine-snake boat. Armed multiple divine destruction, a dozen Hancock, hundreds of lasers glowing with black light, all attacked Akainu. Boom boom boom. Akainu's whole body is thickly armed, and he directly ignores all the sacred destruction and the strength of Hancock's attack. Akainu, a good Zhao, can judge that it is not too strong. Armed defense. Continue to raid the women on Hydra Island. Akainu did not choose a long-range attack, but quickly came to a woman and grabbed it. Gravity strangles. What? Akainu felt his body stagnate. It seems that countless fierce beasts are tearing their bodies, pulling their bodies in the opposite direction in all directions of gravity. Tear. The body was torn into lava in the sky, but before it fell on the sea, he quickly condensed the figure, and Akainu quickly landed on the coast of Sabodi. Looked toward the sky with a deep look. A long-haired woman with blue eyes stood in the sky, speaking coldly. Position. Different. I won't call you mean, then, 2-on-1, you don't call me mean. Hyuga Hinata. Akainu recognized it, solemnly. The strongest in the world Loli has grown up. Ah, its sister Hinata. Under the pressure of her mother-in-law and others yesterday, their proud master Snake G suddenly changed from a female emperor to a little girl, exclaiming full of joy. It seems to have seen the elders who have reunited after a long time. Huh? You really don't have a concubine's height. No, it doesn't matter. Hancock Lingza paving the road and rushed to the sky. Before he was cold and warm, he was looking forward to Daohei. Did you bring the power bank? The cell phone you sent to your concubine is dead, and your concubine is so boring. Hinata. Forget it, don't want to fight anymore.